welcome to Full 42. We're talking about, what are we talking about? Annoying things in games, right?
Yeah, hi, Chris.
Board games? Hey.
Team Spidey Electro. That's what he was just saying.
We got a new co-host, apparently, and he's got a lot to say.
He will be way more entertaining than I am, that's for sure.
Hey.
Hey, Wes. Say hi.
Yeah, you just did a video with West Todd, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. On Friday, we played. He told a unbelievable story about his father, which was fantastic. And we played Nunatag, which is in German. So I used Google Translate for a lot of the cards. But
Something night?
What?
What does Nunatag mean? Something night?
No, it's something. It's like, I mean, it's basically the name of the game is Nunatag Temple of Ice. So I guess it's an ice structure, a big temple ice structure. I don't know what the actual definition of it is.
Tag was night, like Guten Tag?
No, Nunatag.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Misunderstood.
You're fine. But we played the game. So West had brought it from Essen for me. He lugged it back from Essen. And currently it's only available in German. But we got to play it at the Niagara board game weekend, 2 weekends ago. And then we played it at QSCon Thursday, and then we played it on Friday. I love it. I think the game is fantastic. I think it's got such table presence. The game, the iconography really works. The game feels real fun with the way that it works. So it's one of my new favorites, along with the one that we're playing tonight.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that we're playing tonight is Loco Momo, and you talked about that in our last episode.
That has ended up in my game bag. I brought it to the Niagara weekend and played it a ton with people. I bring it to Tuesdays and Thursdays. Hey, Alan.
You finally got the time right.
Yeah. I love Logo Momo. It's a really cool puzzle, set collection puzzle, which you'll see how it all works. But there's the box right there.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, so we're going to talk about our top 5, maybe top 10, depending how things go. Most annoying things in board games. And then we're going to play that game and hang out with people and all that stuff. Everybody can throw in their most annoying things as we go.
Yeah,
I already have mine written down.
So I'm not taking anybody's.
Yeah, I imagine there's going to be some crossover, maybe.
Oh, well, it's interesting, and we'll get into it, how the list kind of formed, because I feel like the things that annoy me weren't – I found 5 that I think are design-based, but a lot of them, when I started thinking about, like, games or experiences that had something that stood out that annoyed me, it came down to, like, manufacturing or production or development rather than the design. And also a lot of the design stuff, if it's annoying, should be caught at the development stage. So is it really development? Is it design? It's interesting. We'll get into it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I got a couple I think that are designed for the most part. I think most of my stuff is why did they do this when they could have simply done this kind of thing? Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a few designs in there as well. We also have announcements. I didn't even ask you if we had announcements, but do we have announcements? Question mark.
Yeah. So
this
weekend is the Level Up Retreat in Jersey, in Woodbridge. Tickets are still available. I'll be there with West, and a bunch of the QSCon community will be down there, along with a stellar list of special guests with Danielle Standring and Jeremy Howard and Alex. There's a really good list of people, in addition to people that are in the industry for RPGs and other things as well. They have the 501st going to be there. We found out Friday they're doing a really cool thing. This is like right up your alley too. They have the 501st. You know the 501st.
Oh yeah.
So they're going to be there from the Empire side, right? Right. Then the Jedi are going to be there as well, and the droid builders are going to be there. So like the whole thing's going to be there, but the people are going to be interacting with the attendees, trying to find information out for a battle that's going to be done on Monday.
That's fun.
That's really neat. Like, I think that's clever. That reminds me of a lot of the stuff that you would do with like the emails that you'd send to people about like things and side missions, and all of a sudden you come together and there's this thing. So they're all going to be there for the weekend, and then there's this thing that's happening on Monday, and they're trying to just find out some stuff. So I think it's really clever and really neat. So
That's cool. That's cool. I like that.
So that is, and then other than that, I have Lucas painting for the day. Also, I decided, because today is episode 1 of our 4th season, right? Like, holy crap.
Episode 151.
151, which is great. That's our booth number at Gen Con. It's been 151. 3WS's booth number at Gen Con has been 151 the past 2 days, or 2 years, at least 2 years. So I decided I tried to rack my brain about what I could do every episode like I've done over the past couple seasons. And the beer one almost made it. Like, Bullfinch Breweries, they're amazing. Dave is a wizard at what he does. But I don't think I could do 50 of them. Like, let's say we do 50 episodes, right? Which has been average because of days off and stuff. I don't think I'd be able to do 50 different ones. And I didn't want to like just start repeating it. So I figured, I know I want to keep Lucas' thing in every day because it's just fun. It's fun for me. He enjoys doing it. And hopefully it's entertaining for people to look at these creations. Also, his level it's weird. I'm not doing anything different this year. I'm going to keep I wanted to keep Lucas painting every Monday, and I'm just going to keep that going.
Cool.
So if something else comes up, then something else will come up, but I'm not going to do anything different.
I started a new thumbnail image thing. Our faces aren't on there anymore, but people aren't showing up in it right now. We got fewer people than normal, so maybe the faces were a good thing. People like the faces. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't either. They might just not recognize that it's us or something, but we'll figure it out. People are trickling in now, so that's good. Oh, look at that. Facebook user loves our faces.
Thank you, Facebook user. Please, who are you? It's probably my mother.
Yeah, on Facebook, you can go up to the post, and there's a little link to click to allow them to use your name whenever you comment. So,
if it's my mother, she won't be able to do that.
Yeah, just click.
Nope. Oh, Andrew.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's user error, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, that's StreamYard working with Facebook kind of thing. It's a privacy thing, I guess. I don't know.
Aww. I love you too, Andrew.
So trying new thumbnail. I'm putting the number of episodes on each of our thumbnail. I don't know if you saw it or not, but it's just at the small bottom left, and it's
I
didn't see that, yeah. So little fun stuff like that. I am working on a new intro. Didn't quite make it. I tried to make it, but I just didn't have the time to make it for this time. But it's coming. Cool. I'm basically having to learn a new software to do what I want to do. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, good.
That's why it's taking some time.
Okay. All right. I look forward to it.
I'm also not going to be here next Monday. So I don't know if we're having a show, if you're doing something. We don't have a plan yet. Or is it 2? Is it 2? It might be 2. You know what? You're right. It's not next Monday. It's the Monday afterwards.
Correct.
Yes. All right. So I will be here next week. So we'll have a normal show. I don't know what you're going to plan after that.
I have some ideas. We'll see how it goes.
There you go.
You just scared me because I thought I had another week to figure it out. There you go.
Yeah. You get another week to figure it out.
This Monday is this Monday.
That's right. So
next Monday is
next Monday. I will be here. The Monday after next Monday.
The Monday after next Monday.
Right. Now, here's a question. Just because he's bringing that, Hugh's on first. Who's on first? That's right. So anyway, so he's bringing that up. Let me ask you a question. Whenever I say next Thursday, how many days from now are you thinking that is?
I'm thinking it's next week.
So you're thinking that it's what, like 11 days from now?
Right. Not the next Thursday. It's next Thursday.
But it is the next Thursday. I've had this same issue before. Like if I say this Thursday, that's obvious, right? That's in 4
Right.
days or 3 days.
This Thursday is this Thursday. This week, this Thursday.
Right. If I say next Thursday, in my head, I'm still talking about this Thursday because it's the next Thursday coming up.
Yeah, but see, you added the word the. It's the next Thursday coming up. The next Thursday.
Why is
this
that
Thursday.
different?
You did, of course.
Oh, no, I did say that, but why is that different?
Because the next Thursday is this Thursday. But
Yes.
next Thursday is next Thursday, not this Thursday.
No,
There's
no,
a difference.
no. Why
The
is there a difference?
The next Thursday is this Thursday.
Yes.
But next Thursday is not this Thursday.
Why is next Thursday not the same thing as the next Thursday?
Because the next Thursday, it's like the next. It's like saying the next touchdown or the next hockey goal or the next drink you have. The next drink you have.
Right.
not
I
next-
agree that it's the next thing coming. But why, if you take the word the out of it, does it then hop a Thursday?
English.
No.
The third hardest language.
Oh, they're
because
going
of
right there.
all those exceptions.
Because the idiomatic expression are how they are.
Rule books suck.
I write rule books.
It's grammar. It's grammar. You got to be specific. It's
No, well, that's the thing. If I was writing this in a technical document like a rule book, I would say the next Thursday or this Thursday, right? Because I know there's the issue of people reading next Thursday weirdly.
right.
Whether it's right or wrong, I know that's the issue. So I would write it in a way that I know it would be read exactly correct.
Right. Because English.
Because English.
It's the third hardest language because of all the exceptions.
What's the first and second?
It's
Chinese or Mandarin?
Russian, and then Japanese, Chinese, because it's every stroke means something. It's almost memorization, but it's iconography.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yep.
Well, and not only that, but they both Japan and China has different languages, like the Mandarin, Mandarin, Cantonese, kanji letters, stuff like that. Like it's all, yeah.
Yep.
Russian though, I wouldn't have thought Russian really. I mean,
yeah. When I was going for my master's, that was the thing. It was Russian, and then Japanese, Chinese, and then English.
I'd love to be able to speak Russian. That'd be cool. I just want the accent. That's true. Spanish has a really solid structure.
It's all very specific. Italian, French, Portuguese, like it all follows rules, right? So if you can learn one, it's easier to learn multiple in those parentheses, right? But man,
yeah, like I took 2 years of Spanish, so I can't speak it or anything, but I know enough to like if French goes off, I'm like, oh, that word kind of sounds like this one. Like you can kind of, yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, I saw what you did with there.
Yeah.
Right, the letters, yeah. Depends on the country. Well, yeah, Spanish does vary a lot.
It does, but traditional Spanish follows very similar rules to Italian, and it just they when you conjugate verbs and you have the articles and everything, it all follows a certain rule, and there are very little exceptions to the rule. Where English, almost everything has an exception.
Right. I mean, we have rules. We just break them. Yeah.
Yep. Because we borrow from so many, right? It's not a base. It's borrowed.
Well, and then on top of that, what rules and exceptions there are, we then break those as well as users of the language.
So true.
That makes it even worse.
No, it's the worst.
But this show has nothing to do with language. I don't know why we got on that.
No, that was a good preamble, though. What we do have.
Yes. Ooh, okay. I saw a glimpse of this while we were setting up, and I thought it went the other way. So now I have to look at it a different way. So what do we see in Luca's newest painting here? Well, you can't unsee the red bird at the top, the cardinal kind of thing. Maybe he's like shooting a gust of wind because it's a phoenix and it's like attacking someone.
Like Evans.
Rage Yeti will fight its phoenix. Yeah. Yeah, the phoenix, I think, is... I can't get away from seeing phoenix or some kind of red giant bird, right? I see the gray is just like air being swirled up and then shot out at you. But
Uh-huh.
you can find shapes in there. What else everybody else see here? What do you see?
So I also can't get out of the Phoenix. Like I see the Phoenix, but looking at trying to find something else and looking at it a little deeper, I see Thrawn's Star Destroyer coming through the portal, and that's the Rebels. That's the Phoenix Squadron.
One Star Destroyer.
Right? It looks like there's the bridge, right? And this is the point of it. So it's coming through the portal, like the gate or whatever.
It's a big bridge.
Sure.
Let's see. If you look at it sideways, like you're looking top down at a guy hanging his head.
What?
Sideways? That way?
This way?
Now, if you do that, I see like a cactus waving in the gray.
A cactus waving. He's throwing up a peace sign right here.
And the other hand's in his pocket.
Hanging his head.
Yeah, I don't see the hangy head thing.
So the
portal is the guy's shoulders and arms.
So it would go this way.
Okay. I don't see that one, but
There you go. See? Evan's with me.
pot of Purgles teleporting in. Yeah. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, I can't unsee it. I mean, the Phoenix is obvious, and then I started looking, and I was like, "Oh, this is just a Star Destroyer like teleporting, or going
The
into
bridge
light."
is too big.
What?
The bridge is too big.
Right, but when it goes into light speed, or when it goes to teleport,
You're saying it's like half of it or something, right?
it like elongates when it goes, right? Like
Hyperspace, by the way.
hyperspace. That's what I'm thinking of.
No,
Like,
it
it's a
doesn't
little fuzzy there,
elongate.
but it's more over here, huh?
It doesn't elongate. It's not Star Trek.
This is a 2-year-old's painting. It's what I see. in a
Sure,
2-year-old's
it is what you see. I just don't see it.
Right. Also, he's
All
not. He has no
I like the
Star
colors.
Trek to ruin his mind. So
I like the colors though. Gray.
I know, like the little hits of purple in there.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's a good one.
Yeah, I enjoy that one.
Nice. Any other announcements before we jump into our list of fun and annoying things?
Do I have any other announcements? No. No.
You've been at a convention like every other weekend. You sure you don't have another one coming up?
Well, yeah. This weekend is Level Up, and then a month will be Gamma, and then it'll be Gathering, and then it'll be this, and it'll be that, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's good. No complaints.
I love
right?
it. I mean, I enjoy it. I love being out there in those, whether it's just gaming like a QSCon or a Niagara, or it's a convention where you have a booth and you're talking to people and meeting people and doing the hustle. I would do that every other weekend if I could.
Yeah.
And we're in such a great period where you can, right? This past weekend, I didn't have anything, but it was Tantrum Con. And Dave and Diana were down at Tantrum Con and looking at Andrew. I don't know if Andrew.
Did you go to Tantrum Con?
I did not yet. Next year, it's on my list for next year. I want to go down next year.
Yeah. Where is Tantrum Con?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay. I know Peter went.
But so Dave and Diana sent me a picture. They hit up the garage sale and they found a copy of Batman, the animated series. So they sent me a picture and they're holding it with Richard in the background. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Did you get him to autograph it? And they were like, nope, we're idiots. So they went and got him to sign it, because if I sign that copy, I think it would be the only one in existence that's signed by both of us.
Oh, wow.
Right. But like, I immediately got jealous hanging out, like they're hanging out with Richard. I was so pissed.
Was not
Not
there.
you, Andrew. Andrew Styles was there. Different Andrew. But I saw a bunch of pictures of everybody, and I saw it last year with Danielle Reynolds, who's a friend of the show, with the table flipping and everything. It's
Peter. I talked to Peter Vaughn earlier, and he told me about playing Galactic Cruise as well. And he started talking about it, and I was like, "Ooh, this sounds like it's my jam." So I went and followed it. It looks good.
It does look good.
Yeah.
And yes, thank you for Charlotte.
All right. Well, let's get into the fun thing. The top 5 annoying things about board games. Uh, I brought this up because of one of these things that popped up in my head while I was not working, but playing a game. I was like, oh, this is an annoying thing. I was like, we should do a top 5. I immediately said, we should do a top 5 of this. And you're like, okay. And then funny enough, as I started thinking of more, it got pushed off the list. So
Great. That's good.
So I guess it wasn't that annoying.
We can do, I mean, I don't mind talking about, because I technically have 2 lists. I have the one that I think would be design focused, and then I have the one that I think is not design focused. So if you want to, we can do a top 10, and we can do 5 of what we think is design, or we can talk about why it isn't design, and then 5 others that are.
I don't know if mine are split up evenly like that, though.
Sure. They don't have to be. As long as you have technically 5 game annoying things.
I got 10 things. Let's just talk.
Okay.
We'll go through it. But once we hit 5, if we've annoyed people enough, we'll stop. If there's more to go, we'll go. Right?
Let's do it.
I was about to say, how'd you organize it? You didn't organize it, did you? At all? Nope. Okay.
Nope. I have 5 things. I have 5 things on top of this line, and then I have 7 things on the bottom of this line. That's what I have.
All right. Well, I organized mine to the least annoying to the most annoying.
Perfect.
And then I have 5 others that are at different intervals. I guess they're less annoying than my number 5 is really what's happening. So.
Okay.
All right. So let's hear one of your random ones that you don't have sorted at all, apparently.
They're not sorted, but I think if this were to be sorted, this would probably be my number 1. Player elimination.
Okay, so you're going mechanism first on this one.
Well, it's a design thing, right? Like somebody is putting a design together. And now, granted, there's a little bit of a caveat with all of these. They're not all the same in all games, right? There are games that have player elimination, and there's no way around it because that's the center of the game. So it's not that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Kevin. So there, like the English language, there are exceptions to a lot of these rules.
Sure.
So
there aren't to some of mine, but sure.
There are to most of mine.
There might be a few to mine. Yeah.
Not most of mine. A couple of mine.
But the player elimination one, of course, has some exceptions because some of them work in that way. Yeah.
Right. And I like the ones where I don't have any specifics in any of these because 1, I don't want to put any game on the spot. I do that enough with some other things. And 2, I know there's games that exist that would break the rule or sit into the rule. But those games that have you eliminated but can still affect gameplay, whether you're a ghost or you have something.
You're a ghost or something. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's player elimination, but you can still affect things. So that's cool.
Now, let me ask you, because this is an oldie but goodie, right? That people have been complaining about forever and stuff. Can you think of any modern, let's say the last 4 or 5 years of games that do this that still annoy you? Like there have been some that have come out that have the exception for me, but
I would almost, and this might piss off a couple people, I would almost argue that Battlestar Galactica has it. Because once you're outed as a Cylon, you're thrown in the brig, it's so hard to get out, you almost can't do anything.
Yeah, but that's older than 5 years, right?
I guess.
What I'm thinking is I think people have complained about this one so much. And I'm not trying to how dare you put it on your list or anything, because I totally agree. Yeah. But I'm wondering if this has been complained about so much that now design-wise, it's just not making it through, which would be excellent, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So let's keep talking about it so that it doesn't come through. But I can't think of any recent games, and maybe I've just avoided them, that have that. If somebody else, Ankh is kind of player elimination, but it's not, right? Because you get combined to someone else, and that's a different annoyance for me. That's why I never played.
Yeah, the last place gets combined, like they get swallowed up into somebody else, which is kind of like a, I don't know, a booby prize, but there are games that have it because it's in the mechanism of the game, right? You got to get to a winner. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. There are games that have it, but if they're not a long game, fine. Like I'm out, I get to sit here for 10 minutes, great. But if I'm out for an hour and a half and I'm just waiting around, it's almost like, yep.
I think at this point, and as far as like how design has improved overall as a industry, I think I would argue more for the game that I wish I was eliminated, but I'm not. So then you just have to hang on forever halfway through the game, knowing that you've lost, that kind of thing.
Right.
If you eliminated me, I could get up and go to another game.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Yep.
A fire tower placed. Let me just go. Huh. I never played Fire Tower.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing, right? Like you're eliminated, but you're still affecting the game in some way.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And I agree. That's games where you just sit there forever is annoying.
Yeah. You might not be able to win, but you can still. I'm not a proponent for someone who can still affect the game and become a kingmaker. Like if I'm eliminated, I'm going to fuck you too. Like that's not good.
Oh
right?
yeah.
I'm going to make sure this person wins or whatever. Like that's also not good. But if I still have something that I can do in the game, so even though I played poorly or I got eliminated or whatever, I can still affect it in some way. At least I feel like I'm engaged for the next half an hour, but don't make me sit there unengaged for 45 minutes. Like,
yeah,
come on, game. Like our time is precious. Our game nights, we want to play stuff. And I'm going to sit there for an hour waiting for it.
Yeah, you know what? I just played Thunder Road does that, where if somebody gets knocked out, then you put the finish line on, and once somebody goes past it, that ends it. That wasn't bad. In fact, I think we finished it the next round. Like it was really quick.
Right.
So that's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clank,
yep.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, I know Andrew did his thing to make sure we knew it was Andrew and the Family Gamers. Facebook user, put your name so we know who you are. Or
Yeah, there's a link in the post you're commenting on that'll let you have your name on there, or at least tell us who you are. Yeah, that's a good one. My number 5 is like I said, I'm going to start with my weakest ones and my strongest one. But it's still really annoying, especially when you need it, when a game does not have a tiebreaker.
You don't like the shared victory?
No, I didn't play for an hour or whatever it is to share a victory. So not only that, but I also want a double tiebreaker. And someone in a comment of I brought this up. What are your annoying things on Facebook? Right? Someone in a comment said they hate it whenever there's a second tiebreaker. So I'm the opposite there. I hate it when there's not a second tiebreaker because normally I play games with my wife and she and I are pretty close on a lot of games. We tie more often than not. And then we go to look to see if there's a tiebreaker. And if there's not, I just feel like, well, what did we just do with our time?
Yep. I agree with you. I do like the second tiebreakers. There is, hey, Jim.
Shared experience. I'll play a cooperative game if I want a shared experience.
Sure.
And I don't play many of those because I don't
hate cooperative games.
Well, we like to compete. We're competitive. We want to. Sometimes we're just like, well, which, let's.
Hey, Matty.
How can we break it? It's very annoying. Matt.
I don't know if this is because this is translated in German and maybe something is off, but when we played Noon Attack at the Niagara board game thing a couple weekends ago, me and the other guy tied. Was it me and
Jim?
No, somebody else tied. Whatever it was, if you have the most. One of the you get 7 points if you have the most of your blocks on the outside of the temple, right? the tie for that. So there's 3 levels. So if you tie, it's whoever has the most on the first level. Okay. And you give that person 7 points, and then it went through, and the tiebreaker, if you had ended up with the same amount of points at the end of the game, the tiebreaker was whoever had the most ice blocks on the outside. So you're giving somebody 7 points for it already, and then you're using that as the tiebreaker. And I don't know if that's necessarily true because, translation and whatever, but
yeah. I mean, I prefer the tiebreaker to actually matter as far as like gameplay goes, right?
Right.
Like if it's just something random that's just like, whoever ended up with the most cards in your hand and you never used them or something, like, well, that wasn't something anybody was going for.
Right.
So, but I really appreciate it when the tiebreaker is basically who got there the most efficiently, right?
Yep.
So if you get a bunch of leftover crap and stuff you never used well, then
Yeah.
But just give me at least one tiebreaker, and then I'd really prefer 2. You can do 2. I've done 3 in my rolls.
2 is good. 3, I think, might be a little overkill. I think at that point, just share the victory. But 2, I think, is depending on the game, right? If
it depends on the weight for me. Yeah. If it's a 2-hour game, you better give me some 3-level tiebreakers. Yeah. If it's a quick, 40-minute game, 1 tiebreaker is fine. That kind of thing. So
there's a level to how many tiebreakers. If it's 60 plus, 2 tiebreakers. If it's 90 plus, 3 tiebreakers. 1 tiebreaker per half an hour.
Yeah. See, just anything like that. So tiebreakers, my number 5. Give me a
that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right, what you got for number 4?
All right, so I guess next on my list, I will talk about randomness or luck in games. Just get an extra point throughout the thing. I think that should be a good rule. 1 tiebreaker every 30 minutes. Right? They do game time, like 20 minutes per player or 25 minutes per player. Why not do tiebreakers per?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Follow that and you'll be good.
So my next thing is about randomness and luck in games with no way to mitigate bad luck or bad randomness.
All right.
That can be more of a dev side of thing, but I think if you're designing a game and you have a game that's like dice based or shuffle a deck or whatever, and you just get boned in whatever you're doing and there's no way to mitigate that bad luck. If it's a quick game, all right, you got me, shuffle, do it again, right? Magic suffers from this big time. If you have a bad mana pull and you're just not getting the right thing, or you have all red and no blue, like, okay, fine, you house me, do it again. Keyforge kind of does the same thing. So they have, like, it's a quick enough game where it doesn't necessarily matter. But man, if I'm sitting there for a while and I'm just drawing shit or rolling like shit and there's nothing I can do about it, that's the worst.
I agree. And would you remind me what your number 1 game is again? What was that number 1? What's your number 1 game? Your favorite game?
I don't necessarily think Arkham suffers from no mitigation in bad luck.
Okay.
I think the game just knows that you're playing it and fucks with you from beginning to end because you have weapons that will help you with your bad rolls. And the game is more about the narrative than it is about the monster that came out of the thing or the fact that you can't roll a 6.
Oh, we said there's exceptions to every rule. I just thought
that is more about the narrative and the experience than me actually being like good at rolling.
Yeah.
Which I'm not. For those that play with me, no.
No one's good or bad at rolling. It's just dice.
No, I'm bad at rolling.
No. Now, people make bad decisions to roll. I'll give you that.
Okay, sure.
Sometimes you can choose not to do something random, but
Well, yeah, I'm not a bad roller. Like when I go to roll, they constantly fall off the table or I throw them up against the wall. My rolls are not very successful. Yeah, like not bad. It's like, how you doing? I'm doing good. Well, you're doing good at what? You're doing well. I get the play on words there.
It's all a whole English lesson today, isn't it?
I'm just going to carry it over through the whole episode.
Yeah, but I mean, so the randomness in the game, what you're talking about, and I get that, but just like with the exception of Arkham Horror or many others, like Talisman is a total random fest. There's still sometimes you just feel like playing those crazy, weird stuff, right?
Right.
So what I would guess is what you're saying is that you hate it when it shows up and you weren't expecting it in a game, kind of thing.
Sure. Like I said, with exceptions, like if I'm going in to play Talisman, I don't expect to have ways to mitigate. Do I go right one or do I go left one? Or do I get housed by this person or do I house by this person? Like going into the game knowing that that's going to happen is one thing. It's going into it expecting some way. Like if that's going to be the game, you're going to have me draw from a deck, and the deck is both good and bad. Right? Like that's just awful. Shuffle the deck, and I'm going to go to this place and I'm going to draw, and it's going to be bad for me but good for you, and then bad for me and good for you, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's not good.
Yeah. There's I haven't played Role Player Adventures. I don't know.
Role Player is great. I haven't played Adventures yet.
Yeah, Role Player is good. I haven't played the Adventure thing though. I need to. I
short.
hear good stuff.
I'm glad they did the monsters thing. Like it felt like it was a really cool experience to like get your character set up and do the dice and very clever in how it all works. And then you're like, well, there's my character. Like, yay.
What do I do with it?
Right. So I'm glad they added on to it because it needed that. It made sense. But it is a really fun. It's a good puzzle. It's a fun thinking game.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one coming from a lot of games that I know you like.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. We said
it's more about the expectation, like you said. If I go into it expecting it's going to be all right, this is just going to be a 30-minute watch how Mike fails at rolling, then that's one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're picking up what you think is a Euro, and you think, all right, we're going to get in there, we're going to have good experience and stuff. I asked Erin what were her, things, and this was her number one was I'm playing a Euro and then someone rolls dice and they win. And all my stuff that I planned well and all, they just rolled all sixes or something and we went right past you. Like, that's annoying, right? It's really tough to mix those kind of things together well. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So my number 4, let's see what that's. Oh, okay. This one will, probably has a lot of fun challenge. I can use my abilities. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make me play that game differently, the role player game differently too. Yeah. Biggest annoyance for me is taking too long to get around. Yeah. That's, sometimes it's a player problem. Sometimes it's a game problem and sometimes both. Right. I tried for this list, I tried to take gamer annoyances off of it and just focus on the game. But yeah, we could do a whole list of what other gamers do.
That thing that Matt just mentioned is the reason why Sagrada came out at a 4-player. Because when Daryl and Adrian were designing it, it took too long to snake draft past 4. Like you just sat there waiting for it to be your turn again. So then they designed which is a bad name for the expansion, but the 5-6 player expansion is not just stuff for 5-6 players. They actually changed the game with the private wheel. So you have 10 dice in the beginning. So when you're drafting from the public and the private in either order. So that snake draft, it didn't feel like you were waiting around for 5 other players to take dice before you. Really, really clever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is uneven turns or unbalanced turns.
That's great.
Did I take one of yours?
No, but that's great. I almost had it. I'm checking my below the line list because I thought I left it on there.
We played 2 turns of Witcher 90 minutes. Yeah.
Kind of.
I haven't gotten into that one yet. Yeah, so uneven turns, there are games that say, okay, at the beginning, the first player gets $5, second player gets 6, 7, and $8, and what they're trying to do is try to mitigate that because they might say the game ends immediately or the game, everybody, including the person that just finished the thing, gets a turn. And then you get an extra turn just because you're next to the first player, but I don't like it. Those kind of things are really weird. I played Concordia this weekend and I love it, but it has that in it and I hate it. It's just really annoying. Now they do the thing where if you're the one that ends the game, like you trigger the end of the game, everybody else gets a turn and you get 7 points.
Right.
Fine. But why not just give everybody even turn? I don't understand why there has to be this weird, all right, everybody's going to start with this different amount of this and all this. Just give us equal turns and equal opportunity and we're done. Like, I don't know why it has to get into this. But the ones that don't even do the equal thing or try to even it out, like it just ends immediately. Yep. Well, you got 6 turns, I got 5. Of course you won.
Have you played Forest Shuffle?
Floor Shuffle? No.
Forest, like a
Forest Shuffle. Oh, no.
Shuffle. Really, really clever in its mechanism. You put the tree down, and then the cards are dual use. They're either top, bottom, and you'll tuck it on top of a tree for the top part of the card, or tuck it under the tree for the bottom part. And then it also has left and right, so you'll tuck it on the left side of the tree or the right side of the tree. Mm-hmm. In the deck, and the way you set up the deck in 3 different ways, there are 3 winter cards. And the 3 winter cards are half of the deck down. When the 3rd winter card comes up, immediately ends. So you're shuffling 3 cards into a deck, and it could be boom, boom, winter, winter, game's over. And you can rush it. You can just draw from the deck on your turn, take 2 cards. But if that 3rd winter card comes up, it's game over immediately. And you're like, you can't even plan for that. It's so random. You can't even plan.
That makes me think of Ethnos. It's the only part of the game that I don't like, but I kind of like. Which is half of the deck has 3 dragons in there. When the 3rd dragon shows up, game over. Well, first round over, then the second round, But so you can kind of see it coming, which I appreciate that. If it was just 1 card when it shows up, I'd be down, not playing this. But it is just kind of like, why not just even out the turns? Just go, okay, stop, and even out the turns, and you're done. I don't know why it has to end immediately like that. I understand there's trepidation. I've heard the argument that, oh, it's a race, so it's like, oh, everyone's there, and then you lose that excitement of getting there. I don't know. And it also depends. We've talked about this almost on every single one, game weight. If it's a light game and it has that kind of like race and unequal turns, okay, fine. But if it's a game that I've played 2 hours with, I want my turn. You know? Yeah, we got is that what it is? Force Shuffle?
No.
He's just being silly.
That's funny though.
Yeah,
Jesus, that's a long time, Matt.
This is that's usually what I prefer. Like, game has been triggered, finish the round, have 1 more round. That always feels really nice, right? Everybody can kind of make up to do their last turn and stuff like that.
Or at least finish the round. Then you have equal amount of turns. You don't have to give everyone an extra round, but depending on how the resources break down, do you have a trade-in resources, right? Are your resources worth points? Can you do something? Is there a market that you don't need a worker at? Like, can you just do 1 more turn to clean up, like a cleanup phase or a cleanup turn, but at least give everybody an equal amount of turns?
Now, I say all of this before anybody brings it up, and this ends immediately when the card gets drawn.
The 3rd thing.
My own game. So, hey, there's exceptions.
Right. Well, it's like you hate house rules, but you house rule. So it's the same thing.
Is it a house rule if you're the designer? I don't think so.
That was more of a blanket statement, but yes.
No, that's just a rule.
If your house rule, if it's your, well, I can't say that because, like with Batman, Richard and I play it one way because that's the intent of the way the game should be played. But the rule book, it puts all the masterminds and villains together as one thing. And like, there's no way the Joker and Harley and the Penguin should be the same as a thug, a henchman, and a ninja. Like, they're the big bads of the show. They require specific attention. You shouldn't be able to take out the Joker and a henchman who's level 1 with the same action. They should have more. So we play it differently, although the rule book.
That's a variant then. If designer has a house rule for their own game, it's a variant.
Well, that should be the rule, but because of the rule books, it was cleaner to just keep it as one thing. So Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Definitely. So yeah, that's my number 4. What's your number 3?
I'm going to take yours a little bit further. And I'm going to say first player or last player advantage.
Yep.
Right. So not only does the game end immediately and you don't have equal amount of turns, that could be the last player that does it or the first player that does it. But games that specifically have, and I know some of them try and do the thing, right, with the extra coins for second player, third player, fourth player gets 2 resources and a gold, whatever it is. But if there's a clear last player advantage, like the last person to go is going to be able to like suck up the points, or the first player to go is going to be starting their engine and there's no like catch up mechanism. Like those are not good. And they're harder to predict and balance, but there are ways to mitigate that. And the games that have those, I'm not a huge fan of, because clearly,
Yeah.
like you have an advantage. So great.
There's when there's area control, especially contested area control that you can take from people and stuff like that, and then you score. Like Path of Light and Shadow is like this, and Ethnos is like that. But Ethnos actually solves it by ending immediately, which is interesting.
Right.
Whereas if there's equal turns and you're scoring everything based off of the areas that you own, and you're first player, you're screwed. Because you get to go and then you can't react to everybody taking all your stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
You should be able to react.
Yeah. Well, even if you have some limited reaction, like Path of Light and Shadow does have some reaction that you can do, but if everybody jumps on your stuff, you're screwed.
Right.
Multi game. But yeah, I definitely see that in area control games a lot.
Yep.
Like,
and they try to mitigate it. I get it, right? Like I've seen the ones that are like second player gets a coin, third player gets a coin, fourth player gets 2 resources and a coin, like that kind of balance. So at least when you go, first player needs to have, first player can go somewhere, but they don't have the resources to do the cool shit. And then by the time it gets to third or fourth player, you have the resources to do the cool shit, but you might be blocked out of it. So I see where they're trying to like, get that thing to balance out. But
yeah. I think that whenever they do the thing where you get the different amount of resources depending on how you start, sometimes that just feels like they saw that in other games and did it.
Right.
Like sometimes I'm like, how in the world is me getting 1 coin worth you getting to grab this thing before anybody else? Like that, it never feels
right.
Corrected. I won't say it never. There are a few games where you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But
sure. Yeah. Well, it depends on what the commodities are in the game and how they're balanced out, right? 3 coins is a victory point, and then they're figuring out if you're not going to get equal amount of turns or something, that's worth 2 points, so they'll start you with 6 coins. Like I get it, and it's a level of math that I'll never be able to wrap my head around. But man,
2 coins is always fair.
Sure.
There's in worker placement. What I like it whenever I can see this in worker placement, because sometimes they'll give the second player or third player or whatever the ability to go to a spot that the first player couldn't because they got extra resources.
Right.
Like if all the spots require resources and it's $3 and I only start with 1 because I'm first player, but you get 3 for third player, then perfect. You're allowing them access that other people don't. You're almost, the advantage is almost like split up, right? It's very interesting. But
that's kind of what Chuck's saying there. Chuck would rather give up the first player to get the added benefit of being later.
Sometimes,
in
the Yeah, that's very cool. And it's weird how your number 3 kind of justifies why Ethnos for my number 4 does it, because it's that is a area control game where you're trying to keep, I have the most here in every spot and stuff. If you let it finish the round in Ethnos, people would be able to take advantage of that too much.
Yeah, like I said, I don't put mine in numbers. Like I like feeding off of, so it just made sense to put the to put that one. It's actually like the 5th thing that I wrote down, but it makes sense to put it in there because of what you said.
I have not played Fox Experiment yet. It's sitting there. I backed it. It's sitting on my shelf waiting to be played.
I need to play that one.
That's interesting, though. I need to play it. People are talking about it. And, when they do, that means there's something to be looked at. So.
Sure.
All right. So my number 3 is it's one that Peter reminded me of in Facebook. And I was like, oh, yeah. That's definitely one I complain about a lot, which is ghost players for 2 players.
Oh, the AI. Yeah.
Yeah. So if your box says 2 to 5 players, and I get into it and it says to play 2 player, you have to play this whole separate thing where now there's an AI and there's a ghost 3rd player. It's not 2 to 5 player. It's 3 to 5, and you have some special mode to allow 2 players going. And that needs to be said on the back of the box because you just falsely advertised to me a 2-player game.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they made a 2-player version of 7 Wonders to get over that fact fixes it, right? Because when I found that out about 7 Wonders, I was just like, okay, this is a 3 to 7 player game. I'm never going to ever play with this ghost player.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not a solo gamer, so I don't like dealing with an AI.
Right.
I want to think about my game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people enjoy that, and so it probably won't bother them as much. If I'm a solo gamer and then I play a 2-player game and have that in there, it might not be a big bother for them. But yeah, I don't like that at all. Yeah. Yeah. I play 2-player all the time. In fact, it's how I learn every single game that I do, unless someone else is teaching me at a con or something. Because when I get it, I learn the game, then Aaron and I play it, and then we take that to game night because I don't like to learn games at game night.
Sure. This is exactly what we were talking about the next Thursday or next Thursday.
Right. Can be or should be.
Right.
They were too busy. What was the quote from Jurassic Park? The developers were too busy wondering if they could play 2-player. They didn't ask not to ask if they should play 2-player. Yeah.
Well, that's like saying all co-ops are solo games.
Yeah, well, that's not true with all of them, but
not semi-co-ops, straight co-ops. Where there's
you mean like
straight co-ops can be played. You can play 2-handed.
Yeah, that's why I don't like them. Because I don't like solo games. But and of course there's exceptions to blah blah blah. Sure. I say it every time. But for the most part, if I'm introduced to a 2-player game and there's a ghost thing in there have been times I was just like, nope, just closed it, put it back, went to go learn another game that didn't lie to me.
Right.
And it is a lie. I see it as a lie. Maybe they didn't, but the back of the box is saying 2, and it technically does 2, whatever.
Sure. Well, we played that Noon Attack game I was telling you about. We played that 4-player at the con and then 4-player at QSCon Thursday. And then Wes and I played a 2-player. And we were just about to go live, and Wes is like, so is there any special rules for 2-player? Because I don't think our blocks are going to fill up the whole tower, like the whole temple. I was like, oh, that's a good question. So I looked it up, and sure enough, you had to take a 3rd player's blocks into the game. So there's no scoring. There's no like builder track. There's no points. There's no nothing. But when you go to play your turn, you're either going to use it to build your tableau and put one of your blocks out, or you're going to put it into the 3rd player's pile, which score nothing. You don't have to worry about any scores, but you're putting their block out on there to kind of block things off. Like it ended up creating a different element to the game, which was surprisingly cool.
That kind of sounds like Teotihuacan. Thank you. Sounds like that one because they also have that kind of thing in there where you don't play a 3rd player, but at the beginning you put out some other group of dice to block your way. That's not really a ghost player. That doesn't bother me as much. If there's some minor little edit, what I'm bothered by is, hold on, let's stop now. I've gone, you've gone. Let's play the AI's turn. Right. No, screw that. Don't want that.
Yeah, no, this one's different. This one, obviously, you're trying to build a temple, so you have a certain amount of blocks. So rather than put in a whole bunch more blocks that you only need in a two-player game, that then it becomes restrictive. Like, look, if you're playing two-player, you can only play with the orange and blue because they have enough pieces for the game. Like, okay, but maybe I don't like orange, or maybe I want to play white, or whatever it is. Like that becomes a little more restrictive. It was a very smart way to, because you are building the temple, so you need a certain amount of blocks to do it. And then the fourth player has a little added thing at the end because of the number of blocks again. But it was a smart way to fix that problem, I think, and it created an interesting game, like a different type of game. But again, exceptions, right? The ghost player won't work, or it doesn't really work in all games. But when done properly, can really work.
Yeah, I haven't played Ecosystem, but like we just said, there are ones that do it well. It's just I just don't want to spend time playing some other thing's turn.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, and as a developer, I feel like it's my job to make sure that all player counts play as closely as like the other player counts, right? And you can't always achieve that, especially if you're going from solo to something else. I mean, some games feel completely different if you're playing 2-player versus 5-player, right? In fact, how you play and gaming dynamics change, and that's fine as long as I still feel like I'm doing the same thing. So
yeah. Well, with charcuterie, we ended up doing for 5 and 6 players. We ended up starting the board with 6 random tiles. So you start with some food on your board, but then going back to the Sagrada thing. So it didn't take too long with the whole splitting. I split, you choose. We ended up just doing piles of 2 rather than piles of 3 or 4. So you have less tiles on your board, which meant it wasn't really a restrictive puzzle at that point because you had the whole board to play with. So then we were like, all right, we're just going to, well, the designers had it. You're going to bring in the edge and you're going to have an inner circle. So now you're bringing in the puzzle to make it tighter, but you're starting with some on your board so it doesn't overstay its welcome. There's a lot of buttons and levers you need to push and pull and twist and get all.
But they keep the feel of the game by doing that, right? It's just like Ingenious does the same thing. The board shrinks for the size of that and stuff.
Right. Yep.
And that's not really anything that irks me or anything like that. It's more of an AI system and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure.
This is my number 3.
That's cool.
What's your number 2, sir?
All right. So I'm going to go with drafting.
Yeah, but the whole mechanism? Oh, okay.
Mechanism can be really good, really well done. But when you're given that last card and you got to eat it, there's no choice, right? You have no choice in the card that you're given. It could totally bone you in some way, right? And yes, you could have, anyone else could have taken it along the draft, but it's the last card that the player to your right didn't want. So why there isn't a way, and it's a very just add another card to the draft, and then when you're given the last 2, you get to pick from one. And if they both suck, sorry. But at least you have that illusion of choice, right? I have a choice of these 2. So why not just add an extra card into the draft when that shit happens? Or discard the last card. Like, don't make me put it into my tableau, which will end up giving me, negative points or something. Let me burn the card. Like, don't draft 3, keep 3. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the way that could work, though, if, let's say, you draft 6 cards and you keep 6, but if you only use 4 in the round, that's the same kind of deal, right? Because basically the last one you're given, you're not going to use anyway.
Right, but then why have it in your hand? You're just taking up room.
Right, I guess it depends on the game, yeah.
Laid out with information, it's annoying. You might as well get it face down on the table then.
Yeah. We're developing a game right now where we have drafting at the setup for starter cards, and we did at first the exact number, and we were like, okay, I take this, and we were like, oh wait, just add one more, just like 7 Wonders and all this other. It's like, why not? And we even had extra cards. I was like, why are we just doing this? We just added the one more, and you get the 2 and you go like, they're not either great, but at least I'll choose this one. You got
Yep.
agency in that, right?
Yep. Yeah, same thing. The game we played it.
Yeah.
One of the games I'm working on with the team. The last time we played it, I to make it simple, it was just 6 cards, keep 2, pass 4, and then keep 2, pass 2. But you're stuck with those 2. The game doesn't necessarily require those 2 to be epic and awesome. You're still getting something for it, but why not just put in 8 cards or 7 cards, and then you have a choice of those last 2, and
Right.
it gives players like a little bit more agency in what they're putting into their tableau.
Yeah.
Also,
No.
what's up, Petrie? How you doing?
I would expand your number 2 just to say anything that feels like you're just handed shit and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
You know, just give a little bit more choice. In fact, I saw somebody write on a Facebook post that I wrote about feeling like they're not given a choice in their action. And that's what it all boils down to, right?
Yep.
Like when you lose, you want to know that it was your fault.
Right. Yeah, not because you're good. Also, I mean, I guess to piggyback on that drafting, if you have multiple rounds of drafting and you don't switch it from the like passing to the left and passing to the right, and you're always just screwed by the player on your right, like at least kind of switch it. Like that seems kind of easy.
Yeah, and it's weird because one of the oldest drafting the 7 Wonders thing does that, and it has a 7, but then you see worse versions of that drafting later on. And you're like, didn't you see the?
Yeah, why would you like reinvent the wheel? Like it works. Just do that.
Chuck. Oh, that's weird. Exact same draft. Yeah, I also don't like drafting in games whenever there's basically like 3 or 4 cards to choose from. It's like, oh, here's a whole handful of the same thing, you know?
Is it Nevermore, Chuck?
Might be.
I mean, the Ravens are kind of giving it, but I think I remember that being a thing, and you're just totally screwed because the player to your right or whatever can sit on one or. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I prefer the secret drafting and then reveal. I don't want you to like see what I'm doing, go, oh, I'm gonna keep these then, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a preference more than a stop doing this thing. Yeah, good one.
I think so.
My number 2 I've talked about before. I don't like to wash the dishes. Stop making mechanisms be a maintenance thing, a step back thing, a feed your people thing, a let me advance every action I do. Stop making me advance 5 actions and then go back down 4. It's so annoying. And on top of that, let me add the extra layer of annoyance of the people that say, walk it off, rub some dirt on it. Bullshit. Screw those people. You don't tell me how to enjoy my games. I hate this stuff. I hate it. Stop making me wash dishes in the game. That's all it is. It's not fun. Nobody thinks it's fun. You're lying if you say you think it's fun to feed people. You're lying. Get off my channel. I hate it.
It's like a cost to the game, right? It's a. I get it, but there's better ways to do it.
I'll take back a little bit of that. Don't get off the channel. Maybe you're not lying. You're lying to yourself. Just kidding.
You're lying to Chris.
No, but it's just like if I go, okay, I'm going to do this. Now I'm here. Then I do this and I'm here. Then I do this and I'm here. Now pay all of this. I just spent an hour just to get from here to here is what that feels like. And it feels like shit.
True.
Unsubscribe. No, Alan, no. Yeah. You can tell it. That's probably should have been my number 1.
I'm surprised that Feed Your Workers was not your number 1.
Well, I don't know. I think more lately my number 1 comes up more often.
Okay, interesting. So. That should be fun. Yeah, I agree. You're advance, take a step back. Advance. And also that's just prolonging the game. Like if you didn't take the step back, you could probably cut time off the game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Why not allow people to like soar forward, you know?
Thank you, Chuck.
No, I'm sure Alan's still here. He knows I'm kidding.
Oh, of course.
It is a little like whenever I say I hate it when blah blah blah, and every single time I say something like that on Facebook, someone's just like, "Well, you're not a real gamer yet," or "You're not,"
Yep.
put some dirt on it, rub it off, walk it off, or whatever it is,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. No, that's not a good excuse for making bad mechanisms, and it's a bad mechanism. There are a lot of games that are great that have these mechanisms, but they're great despite those mechanisms. Nobody loves, Feast for Odin because you have to feed people. They love it despite that kind of thing.
Right. So even though the game is great, you hate it. You hate that part of the game, not the game.
Right. Every single time it hits, I'm like, here's the part I hate of this game.
Right.
How much greater would this game be if I didn't have to sacrifice all this crap? And it's even worse whenever it's like, okay, I could spend my actions doing things that benefit me the whole time, but instead I have to spend half my actions just to be able to feed people. Like, take that whole section out. You cut this game time in half and have a great game.
That's what I
Feast
just
in
said.
Yeah, Feast is in the name. Great. Give me points whenever I feed them. Don't take points from me for not feeding them. It's a very slight but easy fix. Yep. If you say feed your people and you get points, if I decide not to feed my people and try to get points in a different direction, then that's my call.
Yeah.
But to take my well-earned points from me, no.
Well, you should suffer in some way if you're not feeding your people.
I suffer by not gaining the points that the other person who is feeding their people get.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
Or points or resources or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I see.
Or if you don't feed your people, then you don't make more people or something. That's a choice that I can make, though, without having the stuff taken from me. Taking things from players is not fun.
I agree.
I am passionate about this one.
I see that. I'm with you. I think it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then you end up, like I said, adding more time to the game where you could just have a stellar game that moves forward at a good pace, and you're done, rather than all of that backtracking throughout the game.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about Feast of Odin, for instance, half the things you're getting are just the meat and food just to feed them. And then the other half are all the clever things where you're putting the polyomino things together and getting the other boards and stuff. That's the fun part.
Yep.
Never feeding the people is the fun part. If you took that part out and took the meat and stuff out, fun game and shorter game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like it's a checkbox, right? Like, all right, I have enough stuff to feed everybody. Now let me play the game.
Right.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. That's my number 2.
It's a good one.
Seems like it should be my number 1.
It should. I'm nervous at your number 1.
It probably should have been my number 1. I bet you I won't rant as much about the number 1.
We'll see.
All right, so let's talk about your number 1.
So mine is where it starts to blur into design and develop, right? So I wrote down hieroglyphics for icons. Nice.
Hieroglyphics for icons.
Oh, that's hieroglyphics for icons, right? I want to be able to see something and know that it's shuffle or draw from a deck or do a worker action or do a thing. I don't want to constantly go back to a rule book. And this is a little bit on the dev side rather than the design side, but it starts somewhere. But to further that, I don't want icons that are so similar to mean different things. Right? Like, I don't remember the game, but I literally was like, I don't think that's what that means. And they went back to the rule book and you could read it that it means something different. But the action was something was like draw a card. But then the same icon was used for something else that didn't mean draw a card. I'm like, but the arrow down in this game is implying it's take a card from somewhere. The arrow down in this icon doesn't. I don't understand. And it was so confusing. Even the rule book was like, yeah, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, this is not, I hate that. Not only are they convoluted icons that once you understand the language of the game, fine. There's a player aid, fine. It's on the back of the rule book, fine. But then you start using that icon for two different things in the same game. No.
Right.
But is that design or is that developed? Like, should that stop at us?
I mean, that's develop in my mind. I mean, once the developer gets to design and stuff, they get the graphic designer and work with them. And so it's really graphic design, which happens during development, right?
Right.
Yeah, consistency.
100%.
That's a huge deal. It's a whole UI thing, right? Which to be a good UI designer or UX designer, whichever one you use, you have to have extreme empathy for the players. You have to see things from what their point of view is, not how well you know the game, right? And whenever it's a card and the hand's this way, it means take it. But when the hand's this way, it means this. And when the hand's this way, I've seen one where it's just an angle. I was just like, what are you doing?
Yep.
And then on top of that, the ones that are so confusing that they just put the text of what the icon means underneath the icon. Why do we have an icon?
Then why the icon? Exactly. Yep. And I get the iconography. If you can get a game that has icons, then it becomes easily translatable for foreign markets, right? So it's easier to get into other hands. You don't need to know English. You don't need to know German. You don't need to know the language when everything comes down to icons. But fucking keep them right. Like, keep those icons, whatever it is. You can't do a 90 and a 45, right? But then like a 72-degree angle. And like, you can't, it's got to be just straight on. Like, it's got to be easy.
So, Alan, I mean, a lot of icons are thematically based, right? So, yes and no. So there is a universal language in board games that when everybody sees a card with a plus on it, they think, okay, I'm gaining a new card.
Right.
Something like that.
Yep.
Or the slash usually means or. Sometimes people violate that and it means per. And that blows my mind. I don't know when they do that.
Yep.
But there is a kind of universal language that developers and designers and stuff kind of know from playing 1,000 games, right? But it is violated all the time. You know, and you can't, there's nobody there to be like, you can't use this icon for this. You have to use the standardized blah, 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 because it's your game. You can make your game however you want. So, yeah.
One of the games I just played had the slash thing you were just talking about. It was pay whatever, and then it had the 3 resources, but slashes in between them. Now, that should mean pay the resources for this or that or this.
Exactly.
It wasn't. It was pay the resources for as many times as you can pay the resources for this, and pay the resources for this, and pay the resources for that. Like, no. Slashes mean or. Nope, it says it right here. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. So when games break that language that we're all just kind of agreeing with as we go kind of thing, it's very nebulous. It's probably the most fluidic, because a lot of people don't even understand that.
Did you say nebulous and fluidic?
Yeah. Why?
On a Monday night at 10:15. I don't think you can use that level of SAT words this late into a show. That doesn't.
It's well, okay. Let me say in other words then. I don't even know what I was saying now, but it doesn't matter. Just saying the same stuff.
I was impressed that those 2 words came out of your mouth, though. That was very good.
But you weren't listening to what I was saying about those.
No, you threw me at
you just
nebulous.
heard the
I was
words.
like, oh, he just said nebulous because you like nebulous, but then you threw in fluidic and you lost me. I was like, holy shit, he's dropping words.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know about become. It's probably always that way.
Sure. This, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's kind of like this, the next Thursday and next Thursday.
True. Yeah. I mean, it's all stuff like that where, communication between people. It is best, I think, whenever you can stick as close to that standardized. It's not standardized, but standardly accepted kind of thing, right? If you put the arrow for pay, people understand that. So
arrow can also be whatever's to the left of the arrow, you do, then do this. So the arrow could mean almost like an if then.
Right. Yeah. So it really depends. But sometimes, you're like, oh, this is a Cthulhu game. So I want, tentacles to be the thing that means grab cards.
Sure.
That's your call. I would still try to keep it as close to what people are used to.
But that goes back to understanding the language of the game. Like when we sit at a table and we're about to play a game, which we'll do in a little while, a lot of it makes sense because we understand icons to mean a certain thing in gaming. Right. But if we're going into something and I'm teaching you something like that, these tentacles mean this, then you understand that going into the game that's what this is going to be, and then you accept that as the language of the game. Like I understand that.
Sure.
But there's ways to do it that are just not as convoluted as both. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm developing the game, I look at it like a programming language almost. Mm-hmm. Like when I think about what does the user's brain have to go through in order to do this thing.
Right.
And then as a programmer, you always want to condense your program as much as possible because it does that. So I try to compress that as much as possible. So if there's a line in there that goes tentacle equals pay, well, I take that out and just put the pay icon. You don't even have to have that. Right. Now you know what pay is, right? So you just reduce the amount of functions a person's brain has to do per turn to get them to the fun, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Being fluidic.
I like fluidic. Before we get to your number one, and I just remembered, Chuck, if you're still there, could you drop the link to your dad's event? It's February 10th. They're having a fundraiser in honor of his father. I should have mentioned this top of the show. I'll mention it next week too. If you're local to the area, Syracuse area or the greater Syracuse area, it's a day of gaming with giveaways and prizes and a whole bunch of stuff. If he's still listening, hopefully he is. Just drop the link in the thing. I don't know if I can take a picture. Hey, buddy, man.
This is funny. But yeah. Chuck says happily.
Can I share an image window? Oh, there it is.
While you're looking for that, I have to agree with Alan here. I love it whenever the back of the rule book is used for that.
There you go.
Okay.
That's my picture. Chuck can put the link in the chat possibly, but that's Chuck. That's Chuck's father. Chuck in the chat. That's his father.
Actually, I don't think links are allowed in the chats, but if he gives it to you, I'll put it in the description for later.
There you go. Well, you could also, there's the links right there in the image. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you're around, it'll be a day of fun and fundraising and in honor of his father, which is important. He was a tremendous QSCon supporter.
Nice.
And a good human.
Yeah. Good. Thanks for mentioning that. That's funny, Donnie.
Yep. It shouldn't be a thick thing to define all the icons in the game, but definitely define some stuff, especially if you're going to break the traditional slash rule or whatever. If they're so convoluted, be like, oh, that means this. But then that's the language of the game, right? Then you're understanding.
I mean, the poster child for what you're talking about is Race for the Galaxy, right? Where they just have 1 billion of them, and then every expansion adds 1 billion more, and they're all Yep. We're all aware of that.
You get it. You can play it without the references. You can play that without going back to whatever, because that icon means this or that icon, and there might be a lot of them, but you get it because you get it.
Well, you say that, but if I were to play Race for the Galaxy now, it's been a few years.
Oh no,
I'd have to go back to those icons.
No, we'd be making up our own rules.
Yeah. Whereas if you use the kind of generally accepted icons, I don't have to go back to them. Right.
Yeah, it's a quick refresher rather than I need to relearn it.
Yeah. Okay, so my number one, as I said, probably should have been number two because I don't know if I'll complain this much about it, but stop trying to entertain me with rules.
What?
When I open up a rule book and it starts off with place for during your turn, you're going to place your elven tower next to the blah, blah, blah. And because elves like to do this. And just tell me where to put the thing so I can get to the next roll. Like, stop. I don't mind if there's just a little sliver of it at the top of a paragraph, like, oh, the Elven Tower likes to do this. Here's the roll. Fine. You're making me read extra crap that I don't need to read to play your game, but whatever. But whenever it's just all sprinkled throughout the whole thing, all my mind is doing is going, there's a word I didn't need. There's a word I didn't need. You're wasting my time,
Okay.
I'm still not playing your game yet. I'm not at the game yet, am I? Because when I buy your game, I'm buying a game, not a rule book.
Right.
The rule book is the hurdle I have to get past to enjoy the game. It doesn't matter how many pretty words you put in there, how many silly pictures. I just want the information to go play the game. Nobody's going to be like, well, that game was horrible, but the rule book was amazing. It's a 10.
So I will say that there is one game that comes to mind with that exact example.
Okay.
Have you played Kick-Ass, the game?
No. Is it based off the movie?
It is.
Oh.
I mean, it's based off the graphic novel, which the movie is based off of, right?
Yeah.
The rule book is set up like a comic. So it's like you're reading a comic book, and it's done in the whatever point of view of the main character, as if his friends were coming over to play a game. Like, he literally is grabbing the Kick-Ass game box off his shelf and teaching you how to. It's the rule book was better than the game. Unfortunately, I really like what the game was trying to do.
Where's my lighter? Burn the game.
The rule book was actually really
You didn't buy a comic book. You bought a game.
Right. But you got a better comic book out of it.
That's saying something about the game, not the rule book.
Oh my God, for sure. But you would have absolutely hated it. It was really it was comical and funny. So what you're saying is you're okay with the little preamble text of like why we're here and what we're doing. But when
that's separate. A whole block of theme, sure, whatever you want to do.
But when it comes down to like setup and turn order, you don't want any of that fluff.
Exactly. And not only that, because I'm seeing it as a hurdle. It's like, all right, let's get through the rule book so I could get to the fun. Okay. And the more crap you cram in there, you make it 24 pages long, whatever, make me have to learn your game. I don't want to be entertained in this book. I am not entertained. I just want to play the game. Right. And I want to forget your whole rule book once it's done and just play the game and have that. And to pile onto that, walk through things to teach you the game. Oh, no. I hate it. Put game board in the middle of the game. I don't mind that. I write that, actually. Because, it is funny, but it's a great way to start the process. Like, okay, put the game board there, and now everything you describe gets built around it or on top of it.
Okay.
I don't mind doing that. But the thing that I would hate is if you said, put the game board that was once the land that was ruled by blah, blah, blah in between everybody so that they can see where the trees have once gone over to. Shut up. Board goes in the middle. Done. Just get me to the fun. But walkthroughs, like Sleeping Gods does this, and I hated it. Great game. Amazing game. And I hear that they did it again in the Skies one and stuff. But to play the game, you have to play the walkthrough. You can't skip it because it tells you what the whole thing, how you got in this. It introduces stuff that you can't skip. And if it was one thing where I could go through it and then now I know how to play the whole game, great. But I went through the whole thing and I was like, I still don't know how to play this game. And I had to go read the whole rule book. So I had a whole time wasted doing that.
That sucks.
Yeah. Just have let me read the rule book, and then if you need to introduce something, that's fine, but that'll be part of the game,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Rule book. Yeah. Now, I totally don't mind if people do in fact, I prefer it, if people take the theme that they want to put into the rule book and put it in little different color boxes. Because then I can skip all of that.
Yeah. I like it the other way. I like the straight up rules as a refresher in the side in color. and then the more in-depth kind of explanation of it with whatever else you want to add in there in the actual rule book.
I'm fine either way because I know there are people that like all that fluff and laugh and ha 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 on the rule book and stuff, whatever. But if you can write it so that we can both enjoy it, so I can get past it and ignore all that crap, or someone could really enjoy it even better.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with Anitra on that one. If there was like, if there were 3 phases to the game, right? Phase 1 is this, phase 2 is this, phase 3 is this, and then you color code phase 1 in green, phase 2 in red, phase 3 in blue, like that's even better. Yeah. But then put that stuff off to the side and be like, oh, I just played this last week. I just need a refresher. And then you have all the refresher stuff in the column and then the fluff stuff or the added stuff in as the actual rule book. Then those people that know it can just use the stuff off to the side.
Yeah, and you're letting the person choose how they learn the game, right?
Yeah.
Give that choice. All this is reminding me of just a little one I can sneak in as well. Just kind of, it's in the same kind of thing, which is don't give me rules and examples that you haven't given me rules for.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know, where you're like, you never saw that rule and it's in the example, right? Because nobody reads examples. Oh. When you tell me A equals B and B equals C, I don't need an example for that. I move on. But then you go like, oh, in case C isn't there, it's a D, like in the example. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not going to work.
Yeah, Jim, do it.
Can I share rule book design notes? Yeah, of course. Unless I just stole it. Could have been that.
Yeah, right. Good timing.
Yeah. It's really interesting whenever you write rule books with other people because I'm in the midst of several rule books, actually. I really enjoy writing rule books. I know every time I see people complaining about doing the rule book, it's one of the first steps I do to games. I've already written one where the one that you and I are playing, like I got to rewrite it whenever we revisited it last week. So I was like, ooh, I get to rewrite the rules. I got all excited. I got in there, wrote the whole rules. It was great.
You're weird.
But when you write with other people, man, people have totally different viewpoints on how things should be said and stuff. Yeah. It's fascinating to have these discussions and like talk back and forth and, you know, you're going to make concessions and stuff. But
speaking of that game, those 2 edits are done on the table. So we can go back in and start messing around with some of the other shit.
Yeah. Draft. This is his complaint. Everything. Yeah. Drop shadows are they're like a little bit of spice. Like you can overdo it. You can just a little bit every now and then, but only when needed, not on everything. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. I like it. It's not 1995. That's good.
Got to keep it subtle. Someday people are going to design games making it like the 90s, like we do with the 80s stuff, you know. And then you can just drop shadow everything, right?
I mean, this 1994 is 30 years ago?
I don't like to think of it that way, but yeah.
I know.
Ugh.
Disgusting.
That was when Pulp Fiction came out.
94 was great.
And Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Corey. Please don't start that trend. Please don't start that trend. I know, Wayne. Sorry. It hurts. It's a swift kick in the balls, definitely.
Oh, man. Whenever I see stuff comparing, like, if Back to the Future happened today, he would go back in time to 1994. And you're like, what? Yeah. That's not right. That's not how it felt from 85 to 55 though, right?
Yep.
I mean, whatever I wear today, if I went back in time 30 years ago, I'd look exactly like I fit in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It wouldn't be like
there'd be nothing.
Why are you wearing a life jacket? Like it's, or life vest. Like it's not that different culturally,
Yeah.
Well, in some cases it is, but yeah. I mean, it's just a weird thing whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't like it.
Digression. But yeah, that is our top 5, or some 5 in your case. annoying things in board games. Of course, we have others. If you want to talk about them.
I still do.
I don't think I have any. I wouldn't fit it if I did, but
I have some. Yeah, there's a couple extra that I have on my list that we don't have to spend much time on, but I think the ones I mentioned are more design focused. And you can argue, like, if a game came to us and it had player elimination or it had the drafting mechanism where it was constantly passing to the left or had no choice, we would probably dev that out and do something else. I get it. But there are a couple things here that when I was looking at the list, these actually aggravated me more than what was up there. And these are specifically dev or production kind of things. They're not design kind of things. But the first one, I think we're in agreement in this one, putting white on yellow bits. Can we
just talked about that? That's funny.
Just fucking stop putting white on yellow bits. Stop it.
Can I tell you what the conundrum for a graphic designer is, though? Because I understand why it happens, which is
one ink. It's one print. It's one ink.
Yeah, but you have, let's say you have 5 player colors, red, blue, green, whatever, and one of them is yellow, and then you have screen printed on them, all white stuff. That's where you get the yellow with the white on it, right? It looks really weird whenever one of them just has black. But black you can't put on purple, right? It's a weird thing.
I get it. And the game that I played recently, Arborea, however it's pronounced, like there's a specific difference in the black screen printed on your color meeples and the ones that are white printed on your color meeples. But then don't fucking use yellow.
Yeah.
Pick the color.
That's my suggested fix, is to use orange.
Yeah, I'm team orange all the way. But just don't.
Or yellow. Yeah.
Don't use orange. Or darken the yellow, which would just make it an orange.
Probably the reason why you don't see orange that often is because it's really hard for colorblind tests to fit orange in there. But yeah.
Right, but then you could also do something with different shapes for color blindness, so you can look at it at a distance and know what it is right away. Like there's ways around it, but just white on yellow is like I actually sigh when I see it.
This is interesting. You could actually sometimes when one of the things we're talking about is whenever it's on screen print and you have to pay for those extra if it's got 2 colors, so that's why it doesn't happen. But yeah, whenever it's just on tokens, I'm like, what are you doing? Like whenever it's just on punch board and stuff, because you could do it.
I get it. It's a different ink. It's a different, I understand the cost behind it. I get it, but you could just not use yellow.
Yeah.
Evan, really?
This is a good one I didn't think of. Whenever the wood and the colors are like really, I don't like it when it's really like if they're close, it's okay because I get it, I understand it's really hard. But when they're really far apart and it's like this almost feels like 2 different player pieces.
You mean like Red Rising?
I thought you weren't going to mention any games.
I mean, this is outside of our top. Right?
Well, okay. One of mine was that the inserts don't work properly, so now you can say Red Rising.
I mean, that's also on my list. So that is on my. That's 2 different ways on my list. One, they don't anticipate sleeved cards. You don't leave room in the insert, so you pay for a game trays or you pay for this vacuum sealed really cool thing. And then it fits the cards so snug that if you sleeve them, they won't fit. And I get it. If it's a certain type of game where you're not really shuffling the cards a lot, then they're not going to show that much wear. And, maybe you're not going to sleeve it. But those games that are shuffle, you're going to want to sleeve it. And then you don't have room. So what do we have to do? We have to toss the insert and put it in baggies like it's 1995. Like, come on. So
the original Troubles, not the orange one, but the original Troubles box, Yeah, that was Aaron's fix for that. Was that you could either put the cards in this way, portrait, with your not sleeved, or you could put them in this way with sleeved, and they fit either way.
Brilliant.
And the holes on either side let you grab the cards.
Correct.
It was like
that was one of my favorite things.
Idea
If you not want to sleeve it, you had room, but they're not loose in an oversized compartment that they're just going to be flopping around. It was great. It's a great move. What are you doing?
I'm surprised I don't see it more often.
I'm very surprised. But then in addition to that, not having it's my hat. It's my hat. Go get your own hat.
This is number one.
Go get your own hat. Go get your own hat. No, it's my hat. I need to look at my list. Look.
Did you see that?
Not enough room for sleeved cards, and there's no insert or diagram on how to put the shit back.
Oh, right. Yeah. And it's not said on the insert or anything like that. Yeah.
Nothing. Put a diagram. There's plenty of room on the side of the inside of the box, something. If you have icons on the bottom of the trays that represent your corn and your coins and your meeples, then that's fine. Like, okay, that should be easy. But there are plenty of games that have these inserts that are meant for all of the stuff, and you have they're all generic looking boxes. They're all rectangular. What goes in what? No idea. You're leaving it up to us to decide? Okay, that could be a mess.
Oh, this is bad too. The icons in the rule book don't match it. I mean, I think that's just someone missed the update before sending it off to the printer. Yeah.
Yep.
But it does happen.
Yeah, this is great. Let me talk about Last Light for a second.
Yeah, I don't have Last Light, so I can't tell you how it works.
Well, one, you should get that. Two, you literally have to throw away a game trays insert.
That's what I hear.
0 cents. I don't understand that decision. That's a cost that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I wonder if they're, in fact, tomorrow, Last Light is coming out again, not to advertise for them, but, it's coming out again, and I wonder if that second revision is going to fix that.
Well, maybe they'll fix the back of the expansion box to include a picture of the expansion material and not the base game's back of the box.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? All right, so no room for sleeve cards, no insert or diagram on how to put the shit back. A glossy box top. That's what I highlighted earlier. Unless I highlighted the wrong one. That's the one I was talking about with the game trays insert.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wayne, Jim's.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Glossy box top with a glossy box bottom.
Yeah. You can't close it because it's.
You can't open it. It's because the top goes underneath the lip, right? So you have a little bit on the inside of the cover that's folded under with the printing. Funny. And then that glossiness is hitting the glossiness of the side of the box bottom, and it's just it's a disaster.
That's hilarious. I knew exactly what you meant when you said because you can't get the thing open, and whenever you try to do it, you feel the impression like pushing in on the box. And you're
it's the worst. And if if it's not level, if it's just off a little bit, it's gripping so much. Oh, I hate it.
That's funny.
That's the worst. But again, that's not game design, right? That's like, why the hell did you choose to do that? And then the only other, I mean, there's a couple other things that are nitpicky, but when you have a deck of cards that have information and you have a hand of cards, most people, I don't know, that aren't psychopaths will take their hand of cards and splay them either to the left or to the right. That's fine, whatever you choose. But if you splay them and it covers up important information, where now I have to go through my entire hand all the time looking at every card every turn, like, figure that out. It's so annoying. It detracts from the game. It breaks me from what's going on, and it's frustrating as hell.
You can't just have them slayed out like that. So I was demoing Letter Tycoon once at BGG, and someone splayed their cards out opposite of, you know what I'm saying? Where, like, instead of seeing all the left corners, they were looking at it with seeing all the right corners.
Sure, yeah.
And the letters are on the left side because that's how human beings play cards.
Right.
And they were like, I can't see any, and they started doing like each one, trying to figure out what word to do, and you have to see all your letters to do it. And I was like, "What are you doing?" It just blew my mind that someone would display cards that way. I was like, "Are you left-handed? Is that it?" And they weren't.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. Like, I don't think it needs to be on both sides because we've all decided how these are supposed to display, right? At least I thought so.
Sure, but some people play the other way.
Yeah, but whenever it's like in the middle stuff and you have to do that stuff, yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that. Counter display.
Also, nope, you can do that first.
Oh,
That
careful anymore.
100%. For multiple reasons, but yeah, no for me. Hard pass.
Yeah, that's the what do they call them? Replicant test. Instead of asking them like you're walking through the desert, you see a turtle upside down, just hand them a bunch of cards and see how they display them. Can you see letters? No.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, I can't. I don't understand why a game would be made where that is not like figured out. Like,
yeah,
why only have the information on the left? Why not have it? It's like not thinking about having different shapes for colorblind friendliness, right? When you don't have another colorblind friendly fix, the thing to do is just do different shapes or different icons or triangle, square, circle, whatever. Why not do that?
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Whenever they don't have it marked of the expansion card, so you could take them out real easily. Yeah, I like that.
Because what do you have to do? You have to go back to the rule book and figure out how many cards were in the expansion for the rule book and how many components and break it out. That's the worst.
Column of cards.
What's wrong?
You play how you want, but I'm not going to design for that weirdness. Yeah, and there are, as it was said in here somewhere, I can't see where it was. Oh yeah, some cultures read right from left. Mm-hmm. That's true, but this is all based off of playing cards. Playing cards have their information on the left side, so that's why the display is that way, and that's why. Again, this is the standardized information we've all agreed on, basically, as game designers.
Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, only the left side. So this is an example of, this is kind of like all icons, the same kind of thing. We've all decided that the top left is where you put stuff, and that's why you play cards that way.
But I've definitely played, the Mikas are the same. I've definitely played with a deck of cards that has the information in the left and the right. Yeah,
they exist, but those are outliers that someone's like, oh, let's try something different. The standard cards that everybody grew up with playing always have them on the left side.
Yeah, I do agree. They're usually in the left. That's probably where you learn to display
unless
to
you're
the left.
Yep, it's a Cylon test, replicant test.
I like it.
Very cool. I have, let's see, one that I've yelled out a bit before is make it fit in a Kallax shelf. Know your audience. When you make a box that doesn't fit in a Kallax shelf, it makes me think you don't know your audience, like you're not a gamer.
I don't have Kallax. None of my shelves are Kallax.
You don't have to have Kallax. I'm not saying you're not a gamer if you don't have Kallax. I'm saying Kallax is by default the game shelves that everybody has just decided to have there. So when you make your game box not fit inside a Kallax shelf, you're telling me that you are not paying attention to what people are, where they're putting their games.
Interesting.
I got a game recently. I can't remember what it is because I was like, I'm not learning this crap because it was like 2 millimeters too big for a Kallax shelf. I was like, come on. First of all, use standard sizes if possible, because even if it's not for Kallax shelves, someone's putting it on something that goes with all their other games. Try to fit with other games. Because whenever you're the big, weird, awkward game that I have to put somewhere else, then when I go look for games, I'm not looking over there. I'm not playing your game. I'm playing what I'm looking for over here.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Dwellings does fit. It's in my Kallax right now. Now, I will tell you that some other companies made very similar shells like Kalax, and they're just a little bit smaller and it doesn't fit in those. But if it's from IKEA and it's Kalax, it'll fit in there. But it's very close.
I think Jim's got it.
Kalax. Whatever.
It's like Cuscon. It's okay.
Cuscon.
Yep.
Yeah. We already talked about inserts that don't work properly, yada yada, all that stuff. I can't stand it whenever I have to get rid of a insert. I try my very best to always make them work because I design inserts, so I feel bad if I have to get rid of them. But
yeah.
This is the one that caused this entire thing. As I was learning a game, and I looked at a card. I was like, "How does that work?" And I knew that the rule book had a reference for each card. I went into the rule book, and that reference said the exact words that are on the card. Mm-hmm. What is the point in that? Then there's empty space below to give me more information that it didn't.
Yeah.
So the whole thing that started this was a list of cards or reference cards that say exactly what the card says. I already have the card. I don't need this reference if you're not going to give me more.
Right. Yep.
It blows my mind that happened.
Yep. I'm with you on that
one. And I have solos that cost me money. Like, if you want to throw a solo in there and it's like, 20 cards and a little token, cool. No big problem. But whenever I have to take a deck of cards this big, wooden minis and whole sheets of stuff and put off to the side, I know how much that costs to make. I know how much you just added to my MSRP, and I'm never going to touch it. So I paid $5 off of this thing or whatever it was. I know you just cost me money by shoving that solo in there. Make that solo, or make it another game. If it's got all that much stuff, just make another game for the solo people. But don't make me pay $5 or $10 for a solo game that I'm never going to play. Yeah, that one's going to get people mad at me.
Yeah, very specific.
I'm working on one. And then my final one was minis with no purpose.
Minis with no
purpose in the game at all.
Wow.
I could say a few of them, but I won't. Other people can if they want. But if you're not actually moving the piece from place to place or using it in a way that like says this thing needs to be here, if you could literally not use it in the game and it still works, then it's just, you just had me buy plastic. It's just a toy. It's not a piece of the game.
Okay.
But that's it. That's what?
That's fair.
Oh, I thought you said that's every game.
No. I know. Some come to mind, but yeah, I see what you mean. But that, which also ends up costing you money in the same vein as the last thing you talked about too.
Sure.
Because if they weren't there, maybe cost comes down.
Well, but it's not even about the money. It's more like, I'll say it was a Kickstarter game that inspired this one. And you see, look at that awesome mini. I can't wait to play with that awesome mini. And then the way you play with that awesome mini is to put it next to the board to let you know that that thing is in the game now. You're like, you mean I don't move it around the board? I don't battle it? I don't put it on a thing to show that this has been activated? Nothing? Yeah.
So. I think that's my biggest gripe with Imperial Assault. When you get all those the mini expansions, right, for whatever, Ahsoka or the Rebels or whomever, you take that, you can't play as them. You take that card and put it in a deck and shuffle it. And when the time comes to draw, you just draw from this deck. So you may never see Ahsoka in your games because of the way the deck runs out. But you spend $15 per mini, right, to get like the Wookiee Warriors or whatever, and it never comes up. Like that just seems like it's. Yeah.
That is so I can't remember now because we did. Oh, my mic fell. I can't remember now because we did a comparison at one point. But when deck builders take the card that you just bought and put it on top of your deck, is so much better than put it at the bottom or put it in a discard, right? Because then at least you get to experience that card at least once, kind of thing.
Yeah, especially if it's like game ends immediately, and you put it on the bottom of your deck, and you're never going to get it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if it has points, but then you're not really deck building; you're just buying points, right?
Right.
But
yeah, deck building is its own thing. It almost made it to the top part of my list. Was deck building without the ability to remove stuff from your deck? Like very rare. I haven't seen many of them, but one comes to mind where you're deck building, but there's no way to deconstruct your deck to make it streamlined to get to the good stuff faster. It's when you go to shuffle, you're just shuffling in all the shit that you started with. So like that entire starter deck is still there when you're getting all the good stuff, and then it's just junking it up. It doesn't seem like it's deck building. It just seems like it's card acquisition.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about Path of Light and Shadows, that you can choose to cull your deck and it takes you towards the path of darkness, or you can choose to improve the people in your deck and it takes you towards light. So you can do both, but you just kind of hover in the middle where you don't get the benefits of being strong. So if you go to the light side, you got all these citizens that don't do much for you in your deck, but you're not going to kill them. If you go to the dark side, you just start slaying people out of your deck, and you've got like the best stuff going, but it's really tough to, so it's really fun. Yeah.
Total side note, but I was just looking up mixed drinks, and there was a thread on like Star Wars themed mixed drinks, and one of them was called a Youngling Killer. I'm sorry, Youngling Slayer, and it had edible glitter or edible dust or whatever they're putting in, but it had Sprite and blue curacao, but they put in Sour Patch Kids into the drink. So you fill it with ice, you put the Sour Patch Kids in, you put all the liquid in this and the glitter, and it made it just swirly, but all the Sour Patch Kids are like floating in the drink, and it was called the Youngling Slayer. It was really funny.
That's funny. Do they choose all the red ones so it's like red and stuff?
No. It was non-denominational. They were yellow and blue and red. He didn't care.
So. Non-denominational. I mean, he didn't have his red lightsaber while he was killing kids. I always thought it would be kind of cool. Why does every conversation of ours always go down to Star Wars?
Well, but, look at our shirts. Like
yeah, okay. A Youngling beer.
It's Yingling, but yes.
But yeah, I always thought it'd be kind of cool if you could see it kind of flicker and turn red or something like that. They've never really officially said how that happens, but anyway. All right. Well, let's stop complaining like a bunch of old grumpy men and tie it off with we love the industry, game industry that we're in, and sometimes it's just fun to gripe.
Sure, but there are things that, like you had said, like we're far enough down where if you're drafting in a game, why are you not switching it from round to round? Like pass left, next round, pass right. Like that just seems like it's a just do it kind of moment rather than why are we still doing this?
Yeah, I hope it's, taken more like, please guide, development this way and whatnot. By the way, you can't say that's not how lightsabers work. You can only say that's not how they work in Legends. In canon, it hasn't been defined. So, oh, that's interesting.
Ooh, that's cool.
In a video game. Oh, that's fun. Is it because they're torturing the crystal? Because that's how it was in a few books.
Right.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
I like that.
All right, so we're gonna do a playing Loco Momo. Is that right?
Loco Momo. Yeah.
Loco Momo.
Loco Momo.
All right, tell us about the what is this?
There it is. Do that. Ah, damn it. Yeah, sorry for the blurriness. I don't know why the phone is being blurry tonight. All right, so we are going to take pictures of 5 different types of critters out in the wild, and we're going to get points based on the tremendous amount of pictures that we take. I'm trying not to give you too much theme because I know how much you like theme.
Yep. Get me to the fun.
On our boards, this will be Chris's board. I'll put this up here to denote Chris will be first player. I hate that Loco Momo is in the way. I can actually move it up so you can see the bottom.
There you go.
That'll be better. So we have 6 rounds. We're only playing 6 rounds, and we're gonna draft some tiles from this main board. The tiles that we end up getting from our action, we're going to put onto our board to try and score points. There are 5 different rows and 5 different columns. This bottom row down here, and it's really tiny over here, but I'll explain it. The bottom row down here, you'll see this says it's a not equal sign.
Mm-hmm.
You want the tiles that you draft down here to be not equal, so not the same animals. The more you get, the more points you get. So it goes from 1 point. It goes 1, 2, 5, 9, 14. So the more you get, the more points you get. Right? There are 5 different animals in the game. If you get all 5 of them down here, it's 14 points.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
The next row up, you'll notice this has an equal sign. So this row, you want them to be equal.
Makes sense.
Score is the same exact way. If you can get 5 of the same animal, it's 14 points. If you get 4 of the same animal, it's 9 points. Okay.
You don't have to finish the row. That's nice.
You don't have to finish the row. So each row, when you go to place a tile in a row, it will always go as far left as possible.
You're being yelled at. We already had him wipe off the lens before. Yeah, it's not.
I did. I don't know why it's being blurry. We tried to refocus. It's not. I don't understand. It's not. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's not doing the refocus thing for some reason.
But. It's not. I went out, came back in.
I mean, I can see the not equal sign. Yep.
Right. So not equal, right? That all makes sense. If you go to place a tile, it's always going to go as far left as possible, but it won't Tetris fall. So if I place something up here, well, that's a bad example. If I place something here, it's not going to go this way.
Cool.
All right. But if I can't place something here, if there's a square to the left of it, it'll always go that way. It goes left. All right. Okay. So not equal. The next 2, you'll notice there's one icon over here for these 2 rows. You want these to be the same animal. All right. So if
top and bottom to be the same.
This row and this row, you want these to be the same.
Okay.
So if you put a duck here, you want to have a duck here. And if you can get both of these, each pair will be 3 points. Right? Again, if I put a duck here, I won't be able to put a rabbit here because the rabbit would go this way.
I mean, you could, but then you just ruin that
correct
thing, right? Yeah.
Correct. So for each one of these that match, you'll get 3 points, and that's for both of these rows. This next one, if you can get a third animal to match, you'll get an extra 4 points per animal that matches the 2 underneath it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
And then the only other thing that's getting you points is if you can get an entire column of the same color, you'll get an extra 5 points.
Okay.
So if you can get all this to be red and all this to be green, each one of those will be 5 points extra. That's denoted by a little thing you probably can't see.
Yeah, I can see it, sort of.
Okay. So does scoring make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Here's how you get the tiles. There are 5 different animals in the game. Each one of these spots will have 4 in them, right? It'll look something like this in each one of the 4 spots. Okay.
Yep.
Each animal, when you decide to take an animal or use an animal for its action, each of the 5 animals do something different. The rabbit, if you choose a rabbit, the rabbit will go clockwise to the next location. So if the rabbit were here and I picked the rabbit, I would get the rabbit and it would go here and I would do a thing.
Okay.
The ninja leopard, whatever.
Right. Looks like a little.
Yeah, it looks like a little ninja leopard. It does exactly what the rabbit does, just counterclockwise, which they say in the rulebook anti-clockwise. If you look at the little icon here, the rabbit's going clockwise, the leopard's going counterclockwise. So if the leopard were here, I would go to this square and do the thing. Okay?
Yep.
The bear stays put. So if you choose the bear is going to stay in the square that it is and do the thing. Right? So rabbit goes clockwise, leopard goes counterclockwise, bear stays where it is, eagle goes diagonal.
Gotcha.
Okay? And then the duck will go clockwise to the next square that has a duck.
What if there is no duck?
It will then return back to its square.
Okay.
Okay? What you're doing... How you doing, buddy? And I'm just going to seed this real quick just for purposes of explaining. Luca, please don't touch any of the tiles. 3, 4. That's a lot of leopards. He's looking at all the animals going, what's going on? That's a lot of red. All right, so this is how the game would be seated, right?
Yep.
What you'll do is you'll pick an animal in one of these squares. You'll do its action, and then you'll take all of the same color in that action square.
Okay.
So if I were to take this bunny, the bunny goes clockwise. It's blue, so I'll go clockwise, and I'll get all the blue.
Cool.
If I were to do this bear, the bear stays put, and I'd get all the green. Make sense?
Yeah.
If I take this bunny, the bunny goes clockwise, I get all the red.
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay? So, I mean, I can just leave it that way. Well, let's not.
Yeah, shuffle it up.
Yeah, because you probably already thought about which was the best move.
You say there is no duck, only Zool.
There is no duck, only Zool.
Only Zool.
We have 6 rounds. Every time it comes back to you, since you're the first player, we'll advance the round track. And at the end of 6 rounds, we'll add up our points.
The duck is Vigo.
Oh my God.
I'm just laughing at the hook, man. All right. Most points, blah, blah, blah. Gotcha. Let's go.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Give me to the fun.
There's those.
Who's going first?
You got the camera.
So, person, I got the camera? What?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can't see it now because I moved everything up. But
What are the rules for deciding who goes first?
do you really want me to?
I was just curious if you knew. You don't have to look.
No, it's in the box.
It can lead me to one more complaint.
Sure. Or you want to know the tiebreaker?
I do want to know the tiebreaker.
All right. Setup.
Daddy.
Hi, buddy. The player who most recently went on a walk in the forest starts.
I hate that.
You can also choose the starting player at random.
What if I don't live anywhere near a forest?
Then you can choose the starting player at random.
Yeah, that's better.
The game ends once the 6th round is over. Count the points. The player who scores the most victory points is appointed the photographer of. Yeah, there's no tiebreaker.
Boo boo. Okay.
Yeah, just legit. Whoever has the most points wins. There isn't even a tiebreaker.
You could have at least given one little thing somewhere.
Yeah, you could have.
Just say whoever got the most points out of the top row. Boom. Done.
Sure.
That's the hardest one to do, right?
It is the hardest one to do. Well, actually, there's 2 modules, extra modules in here. You'd flip this over, and there's an A and a B, and you actually want this square has a little flower on it. If you can get that to be here, you get an extra 5 points. And this is really hard to do.
Yeah.
All right, you get to go first.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's see. Ninja Cat. So I'm just collecting the same color, not the same. And I decide all those things that go in, right?
Correct. Yeah. When you do your action, you first you pick a square and pick an animal. You do that action. Then, like the rabbit would go here. Then you're going to get all of the same color.
All right. Let's take the eagle in the top right, fly over, and give me all those greens.
These?
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you want to put them?
I want to put the chipmunks or the ninja cats or whatever they are in the 2nd and 3rd row. Yep. Thank you very much. Let's put the eagle and the bear below them. It doesn't matter which one.
Well, they're all green, so that's good. And then you want this to be different, so
yeah.
Oh
no, you want the columns to be the same color, right?
Yeah, they're all green. You're good, but you want the
put the eagle on the one above the bear.
Oh, so that means you're gonna hope that these all become eagles.
Well, can you tell me if the number of eagles versus bears are the same kind of thing, or like should I not put my money on eagles because there's only like 4 in the book, and
Well, why are you asking all these designer questions or developer questions? There are 105 animal tokens, and there are 3 colors, and there are 5 animals. So do the math.
Well, as long as they're evenly distributed, and
I'm
cool.
pretty sure they're evenly distributed.
All right, then I will take that.
See you, Evan. All right, so you're good with that?
See you, Evan. Yep.
Okay.
Ah, look at all them eagles.
Oh my god.
Wahahaha.
Well, that's not really that good, is it? All right, I'm going to take this rabbit. He goes clockwise, and I get all the red.
Cool.
So I'm going to put the cats like you did, and I'm going to start the rabbit on the bottom, and then I'll refill there with another red rabbit, and I'll refill.
We're going to do this 6 times, so that was round 1 already.
That was 1, so now we go to round 2. Your turn.
I need a 4th one in the top right?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, well, send that eagle over, right over there. Give me 3 eagles.
Okay.
You know where those are going.
I'm assuming they're going to go right in the eagle row.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. So
Now, unfortunately, that means I got to get a lot of blue.
A lot of blue, yeah. But that is currently right now your eagle row is 9 points.
Got some football talking. I think football.
Eagles? Yeah, Eagles over the Bears.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, that's super fun. Oh, that's actually really good. So I'm going to take this leopard.
Yep.
And the ninja leopard goes anti-clockwise.
Okay.
And I get all 4 of those.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Where'd the remote go, buddy? Did you take the remote? Where's the remote?
Dana said to do bears.
Where'd the remote go? Where's the remote? Go get me the remote. I think he stole the remote from me. Oh, no, I got it. Here you go.
Accused.
The Bears. Okay. So that's going to go there because that's extra points. And then I have these to place. So let's put the eagle and the bear down here, and I'll put the rabbit there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you go.
All right. Well,
that is round. We're on to round 3.
Yep. You said bears stay put, right?
Correct.
What is the animal at the bottom left?
This one?
Yeah.
Rabbit.
What's the rabbit do? It goes clockwise?
Clockwise. It would get all the red there, which is the move you probably should do.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, I think that's the best move for you.
Yeah. All right. And the duck goes counterclockwise?
No, the duck goes clockwise, but it'll go clockwise to the next square that has ducks.
So it finds another duck. Okay.
Right. And then it'll take all the color. So this duck would get you that duck, and that bear. The eagle would take you over here and get you that eagle, and that bear.
Yeah. So if I chose...
Get a couple good points here.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like that one either. I can't get what I want, I don't think.
Sorry.
You should be.
I'm not at all.
Yeah, the bear's stuck right now. Is that in the bottom right corner? What's the one that's top left?
The rabbit?
Oh, that's a rabbit. Okay. I can't tell between the rabbit and the ninja cat thing.
Yeah.
And rabbit does the clockwise, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, if I can't get that, why don't I do... Let's take the duck from bottom right and have him go around.
So you get those?
Yeah.
All right. Where do you want them?
It's going to be duck, duck, bear. So second and third row for the ducks, and then third row for the duck. I mean, for the bear.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't always get what you want.
Did you get what you need? Ooh.
Oops.
I think the eagle is the way to go. That gets me the duck and the leopard for the bottom. Doesn't help me with the bunnies.
I failed first grade, not kindergarten. I didn't fail. I just had to repeat it.
Eagle, eagle, bear. Do I do the same?
Yeah.
I don't want to. Eagle, eagle. Yeah, it gives me eagle, eagle, bear. That makes way more sense. That sucks. That's the move. Is this eagle going up there and getting all that shit? But
It's a lot of stuff.
it is. But the eagle bear screws me. Let's do that. So, duck, ninja leopard, and then I'll do eagle and bear. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably good to do the exact same thing.
1, 2, 3. And 1. And we're on round 4.
Oh man, how do I not do that? All right, let's take the eagle in the bottom right and go across.
These guys?
Yep.
Okay, how do you want it?
All right. Well, the two rabbits go in the second and third column. Yep.
Yeah, but here's your problem.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
You put that rabbit there, it's going to go over here.
All right, right. Put the rabbit down by the bear at the bottom then.
So put a rabbit here, you're saying, a rabbit here?
Yeah.
And then your eagle here?
Yep. And then the cat on top of the other cats.
That's pretty good. It's like you're copying my cats over here.
It's true. That's what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
That's how you win.
By copying second player?
You got any other colors in there besides green?
Nope.
Jeez. There you go.
Ugh. Well, I guess that one makes the most sense.
Copycat. Yeah, I don't know how we didn't think about copycat.
Yeah. Leopard goes counterclockwise and gets all this shit. I think the leopard's probably the better way to go. I'm going to take this leopard.
Yep.
And that'll go clockwise or counterclockwise, and I'll get that stuff. So that'll go there. This will go here. And this will go here. Okay.
Sounds good. More green.
1. There you go.
Let's
We're on round 5, so 2 more turns.
Yeah. 2 more turns. Wow.
Yep.
That's not good. So if I say, okay, I see what's going on there. Do I need that? I don't need that.
We're
there's
even right now.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take the bear, the bottom left.
So these 3?
Yeah. So the bear matches the bear on the third row.
Yeah.
And then the eagle goes down to the very bottom.
Okay.
And then the duck goes on the very top row. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, until that turn, I think we were even. I think that one just sealed it for you. That goes clockwise. That sucks.
You just need a bunch of bunnies.
It'd be great if I could get them. Like, give me an eagle in the right spot or the right color bear. All right, so if I get eagle bear.
It's weird how you get locked out of stuff after a while.
Yeah.
It's cool, actually.
The duck is awful.
Oh, no.
Oh, what happened?
I just blinked for a second there. There we go.
Oh, wow. Blue.
Wait, no, I'm not winning. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what happened? I don't know.
That?
No, I need to get that. I'll do this.
There's not a lot of good choices here, actually.
Really not.
Not that I see.
I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm gonna take this eagle. Go over here and get these guys. Bear's gonna go here.
Oh, I think the screen is frozen. I don't see your hand moving anything.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Here, let me reset it.
Why would it not work?
Put your hand in front now. Oh, that's worse. Got blurrier.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my.
Oh,
God.
you know what the blurriness is? It's not your camera. It's got to be the internet connection.
Well,
Do you have it on Wi-Fi?
Here, remove it for a second.
You have it on Wi-Fi?
I think so. I'm gonna check now.
Chuck says lower right rabbit, but I don't remember what the setup was.
Yeah, it's on Wi-Fi. Maybe it's just because that and this together is just.
Yeah, it might be the live thing, right?
Oh, it looks really good.
This is a fun. This game makes me think of something like Dice Miners or something like something you could just get out and play real quick, or Cascadia. Yeah, and I like those games, especially for that reason, right? You're just like, let's play a game, but we don't have 2 hours to dive into Arc Nova kind of thing. So,
right.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I mean, I'll hold my thoughts on it until I win. If I don't win, maybe no.
Of course.
It has no bearing.
Yeah, it's really not.
Jim wants to know who won. Nope, we haven't finished yet. We had a technical difficulty.
Yeah, I'm still trying to rig the game so I win. So hold on.
And we got to give him as much time as he needs.
We're going to try this.
All right. It said Bam did this. Do you want me to pull it up?
I hit add. It's not even adding for me.
Oh, I just remembered. Oh, it's because I have this set.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
It didn't get too much better. I think it is a little bit, maybe just a little bit, but
yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right.
Man, you got extra pieces somehow. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how it happened. All right, this is the last turn.
This is the last turn?
Is it?
Oh, this last turn sucks. Yep. Did you give me anything good? You gave me nothing good.
That's not true.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, those 3 blue eagles screwed me because I almost have an entire green board here.
Yeah, that's true. That's just
let's see. Well, I want a bunny. Let's see. A bunny and a bear will get me. Is it 3 points for a pair on the 2 and 3rd row?
Yeah, 3 for the pair, 4 for the 3rd.
So a bunny and a bear will give me. Oh, that's not a bunny though, is it?
I don't know what you're looking at.
The top red corner.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bunny.
Okay, so a bunny and a bear will get me 7 points. A bunny and a cat will get me. How many points do I get if there's a 4th item on the bottom row?
You'll get 4 points for that item.
Okay.
So it'll go. Right now, you're sitting at 5 points. You'll go to 9.
Okay, so that's 8 points if I take those. If the cat goes counterclockwise, right?
Correct.
So that's not as useful to me.
Now it's still 8 points. Your cat would go on the bottom, getting you to 4, and the bear would go on top, getting you to 4.
Yep, same thing. I can't get more than 2, it looks like.
Your red eagle would go up there and get you the duck and the bunny.
Yeah, but I don't have a place for an eagle.
It could just go there and get you no points, but it's only getting you
Which is the same as getting 2 things, right?
Oh, yeah. But it's getting you 3 chips, so.
It's getting what?
It's getting you 3 chits.
What do you mean chits?
You said there was no way to get more than 2, and that way gets you 3.
There's no way to get 3 useful. How about that?
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it.
Because the rabbit goes counterclockwise?
No, rabbit still goes clockwise.
Okay. Then he'd give me 2 things. The ninja cat goes counterclockwise. He'd give me 1 thing. Correct. Yeah, okay. All right. So you said the top left is the bunny, right?
This one?
Yeah. So if he went, he would give me 3 red.
Yeah, bunny, duck, bunny.
And that's 2 bunnies and a duck. All right, let's do that one.
Okay. How are you putting them?
So the bunnies go above the bunny, and the duck goes down at the bottom.
And where do you want the other bunny?
Above that bunny.
No.
Oh, no, it doesn't work that way.
So you could botch the duck and put that duck there and then put the bunny up there.
No.
Don't do that.
No, put those back.
What?
Put those back. I'll take it back. Just make have the ninja cat at the top left go down.
This one?
Yeah.
To here to get the bunny?
Yeah.
Ninja cat at the bottom?
Yep.
Bunny at top?
Yep.
Okay. Good. Final answer? You're not taking it back?
Nah, that's fine.
All right. There's a duck and there's a ninja cat. Ugh.
So you never get to finish the board.
It's very difficult.
Hi, Alan.
Oh, good night, Alan. Bunny goes clockwise. Ugh. Duck? Duck could work.
No,
duck is shitty.
Yeah, that was dumb. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, I think you got it. I don't think I can match. I don't think I can get 2 bunnies and... Well, I can get 2 bunnies.
There should be an extra animal where you could swap out something on your board with it.
Well, now you're just gaming the game.
I'm doing expansions.
Uh-huh.
If I could get rid of those 3 blue eagles and make them green eagles.
That'd be great. It'd be an extra 5 points.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't finish the rows.
Uh-huh.
So what you doing? Yeah, the Tasmanian devil. That'd be good. It just swirls everything.
You went from 2 to 7. Oh, man. I can't. I don't think I can. I can't get there. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not going to get me any fucking bunnies, though, is it? Damn it. That would score. If I take this duck, that duck's going to come over here.
Yeah.
I mean, eagle, leopard, and 2 ducks.
Yep.
The leopard would go there. The eagle would go there. The ducks do nothing.
They plug up the top, yeah.
Yeah. I can get a bunny and a bear. That gets me 3 and 4. That gets me 7. I can get 2 bunnies and a duck. That gets me 7. Counterclockwise comes this way and gets me a leopard and a bear. That gets me 6. That gets me 7. I don't think I can get more than 7 points.
Well, 7's what I got. So
Right. But then we're going to
trying to
tie
beat
with no tiebreaker? Leopard goes counterclockwise. So that would be 2 leopards. That's not going to help me. Bear stays put. That gets me a bear and a rabbit. That gets me 7 points. Rabbit goes clockwise. Gets me 2 rabbits and a duck, which is 7 points. Duck goes to duck. We already did that. Rabbit goes clockwise to bear. That gets me 7 points. Fuck.
I don't think you could get more than 7.
I don't think I can. All I need is 8. I think I get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like I get that bunny and that leopard. That would put bunny here, which is +3, and leopard there, which is +3. That's 6. So that's useless. Eagle goes across, gets me 3 + 3, 6 points. That's useless. The best I can do is 7. As far as I can see, the best I can do is 7. If the leopard went clockwise, that would be great.
See, this is why I haven't totaled up your score or tried to balance and stuff.
Oh, it's so
Too
bad.
much to think about.
That's 7. All right, I'm going to pick this bear, and I'll pick this rabbit. Rabbit goes there. Bear goes there.
It'd be cool if we had like one card each that was like a secret scoring thing. Like you get +1 point for every bear, something like that.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I hear you.
Because then you wouldn't know right now what you need to do.
Right.
You'd be like, well, he could have, 1 point per eagle, but he might not,
Well, you could also hate draft the last turn and get that 1 eagle out of there.
But if it's secret, like
right.
if you don't know what it is, so it's the Grotto style, right? You don't know what color I am. That kind of thing.
Sure. All right. Let's do your not equal gives you 9.
Nice.
My not equal gives me 14.
Man, not as
Your
nice.
equal gets you 14. My not equal gets me 5. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Your 3, these get you 3, 6, 9, 12.
Okay.
This gets me 3, 6, 9. So I'm down, 7 points already? That's awesome. You get 4, 8 for your top row there. I get 4, 8, 12 for my top row there. And then your 5 points for that column, and I get 5 points for that column.
Yeah, I got 48 points.
How do you do that so fast? I don't even have my phone. I have to do mental math? Oh, this sucks.
Just say your numbers then.
This is 10, 22, 31, 41, 45.
You got 45? That sounds good.
And you have 48?
Yep.
Yeah, I got 14 and 5 is 19, and 9 is 28, and 12 is 40, and 5 is 45. So you got me by 3 points.
Chuck got you at 45 as well.
Thanks, Chuck. You couldn't have just, said I did it wrong.
Nice. That's a fun game.
Oh, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, that's really good. I think it would be just slightly better if you had those scoring points thing. But
yeah,
maybe they'll do a slight, expansion or something for it.
So the other side that I mentioned, this side here has a A and a B. The B, is it B? Yeah, A and B. The B is shuffled out of one of the 5 animals. It's put here, and then if you can get that animal to be here, you get an extra 5 points. So trying to top heavy, right, to get that stuff going. The other one is an environment. I think it's what they call it.
That's what the colors are.
Goal. Let me make sure. Endangered species is the A, and the B is the acrobatic picture. Sorry. When setting the game up, you place whatever. That's the B. Sorry. At the end of the game, players who have the least tokens matching the animal or color of the randomly drawn hex scores an extra 7 points. Do you want to stay away from that one because it's endangered or something?
All right. Seems weird not to take a picture of an endangered animal.
Of an endangered, yeah. It seems almost counterintuitive.
Maybe it's just like don't mess with it. Thanks, Jim.
Randomly drawn animal or habitats appear as little as possible. Oh, to protect them. You don't want to bother them, so you're trying to stay away from them, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But we played a game with both of those in the game. It doesn't. I mean, it's fun. It doesn't really. It's like using Scoundrels and Skullport when you're playing Waterdeep. Like you just do it, you know.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Night, Jim.
Night, Jim.
Yeah, that's a fun game. I enjoyed that.
I
got to get that one.
Super simple. It's again, we were talking about the iconography making sense, right? So you have this picture of this rabbit with a clockwise arrow, and then you got a picture of the leopard with the counterclockwise arrow, and you got a picture of the eagle with the diagonal arrow. Like it all makes sense, so it's really easy to teach.
Well, and also the equal and the not equal signs are so universal, you know, that standardization kind of stuff. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, super simple. The hardest thing about trying to teach this game to somebody is the first time you play it, you pick an animal, and then you go to a thing and you get all of the color. So it's almost like that. Use the die for the pips and then use the die for the color.
Right.
Other than that, the game is super.
Yeah, because intuitively, my first turn, when I thought, okay, I'll move this, I forget what it was, but I'll move this duck here. I thought, then I get all the ducks? Wait, that's not right.
No.
The duck is green. I get all the green. And I had to switch that on. Yeah. But that's not a big thing to grok.
That's the language of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one. I've been playing that one a lot. I enjoy it. It's a fun, quick, like it doesn't take long, right? It's a really 6 turns, you're done.
Sounds like he's ready to go to bed.
He's banging a cup on the dishwasher.
All right. Well, yeah, that's a fun game. Fun episode too.
Glad you like it.
And subscribe if you're still hanging on. People hanging on are probably already subscribers, but at least give us a little likes.
Yeah, do the like and subscribe thing. Luca, come say bye.
Hi. I think he just went like.
He said bye, Chris.
He did. That's awesome. You're awesome, Luca.
Say bye, Chris.
Bye.
That was good.
Wait, I have a pen too.
Oh, he's poking you in the face with the pen.
Well, bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
What?
See everybody next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Say bye, Luca.
Bye, Luca.
Bye, Luca.
Said bye, Luca.